Is everyone else still there?
I'm here.
Oh, I got scared.
No, I just
You
made it go
can't be
live,
alone.
so I wasn't talking. That's all it is the TFG logo and people listening to the three of us talk.
How's your dentist appointment, John?
Why are you asking me about my dentist appointment live on the internet?
Why are you being
He's
that paranoid?
he's always very interested about what goes into your mouth, John.
Oh,
He's jealous that way.
Nice.
wow.
Nice.
Wow.
So I went to go get my tablet and it was sitting right next to me.
That needs to get cut out of the show for sure.
What did you say?
Is it in
We're
the shower?
not repeating that. I told you it was live, Tom. What do you...
He's worried. You know, your dental health is very important to your overall health. He's worried about you, man.
Well, that and I wasn't really paying attention because I've never done a Discord. I thought we were not live yet.
So
I
when I
wasn't paying
say, do you
attention
want me to
either
go
'cause I
live
missed it,
at him? And he says, yeah, go ahead. That means that we're actually like live. Because
I was
used the
too
term
busy
live.
downloading and scrolling through
Who are we
my
talking about?
bot copy of the
Tell me after, Danny.
Codex.
Yikes. Yikes.
I
Okay. So,
hate, I
Adam,
hate
are
my
you
life.
ready to
I can
kick
just
this
log
thing
off right
or
now.
what?
I can just log off right now.
Are we
Adam,
just...
are you
Good
ready to
job,
start the
guys.
show, Adam?
Can you log off of life, Tom? Is that possible?
there is, but he's gonna go to hell for doing it.
Yeah, I have to enter the .38 special command key on my computer.
I wouldn't risk a 38, man. Those left you zip.
Go big or go home if you're gonna go out, right?
I
Pretty
am.
much.
All right.
With rubber bands stirring in a 50 cal, anything is possible.
Thank you, Mr. Inquisitor.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, so Adam, go ahead and do
All
the
right,
intro.
so let me get this started. Hey everybody, Adam here for welcome to another episode of TFG Radio, a 40K podcast from the judge's perspective, and Tom.
Hi.
Today, as you can see, we're joined by Discord because I think I'm still banned from John's house, so we're doing Discord. Today we have John, as always,
Yeah, I'm here.
Tom and Danny.
Hello.
Hey.
And we have a few topics today. It's been a while, so there's a few things, especially in this new post FAQ world and post Drukhari Codex from what we've seen from some of the recent events. With Drukhari winning 2 GTs, one in, I think it was, I can't remember, Storm of Silence, I think, which was won by JP and with a Drukhari Eldar mix, and the Alamo GT, which was a first and second place Drukhari, with both of those armies being pure Drukhari. So we'll see how it goes going forward, especially as people get used to.
Pure Drukhari? Is that what you said?
No, he ran a mix. He ran Drukhari with some Eldar.
Oh, okay, cool.
But the first and second place at Storm of Silence was who also went undefeated was Tyranids.
Hey.
And I didn't care enough about Tyranids to really pay attention to whether they're.
Of course.
Yeah, if you have the BCP app, you can go look. But it was pure Drukhari for both first and second at the Alamo GT.
Nice. Wow, it's pretty good.
And then it brought, and just I guess to start the discussion about that. And what are we building today, John? Forgot to ask.
I have. Well, I just put it on the screen. I'm building my Necrons.
Are they Reconnect Warriors or Immortals? Or...
I'm building Warriors. My Immortals are all finished.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Immortals are all finished. I have like 70 Warriors to build.
Yeah. Which brought up a conversation I had in another chat about the GTs, because I'm of the opinion that you can't really gauge a lot of the strength of a codex just from any GT, because just to take our local one, although it's almost 60 players, it's mostly local players.
Yes.
We don't get a lot of pull from across the country.
No, it's all SoCal people, but then sometimes like Thomas Hegstrom
Some
shows
Arizona.
up from Utah and some Arizona, some
A
Colorado.
couple of Oregon people.
Yeah, the one time the guy who used to work for Frontline, who now lives in Colorado, he came.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Kieran.
Oh, Kieran.
Yeah, I played him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that
that's
was
the thing.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, you really can't evaluate the success of a codex until it wins like one of the big four of like Adepticon, Nova, LVO,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Bay Area
you know,
Open, maybe.
maybe
Sleep
BAO
Now,
or,
maybe.
Broad
or
Those
like
are
War
bigger,
Games
bigger
Con,
draws. Yeah, War Games.
right?
Or
Yeah, it's
what's
just
at the battle? The Atlanta. There's the one in Atlanta. Warzone.
oh
Atlanta.
yeah, like you need to. I mean, a codex really can't be. You can't really say like, oh my god, okay, this is an exceptionally strong codex if it's not competing against 3 or 4 different metas at the same time.
Right. Yeah, you need the diversity. Wow, I can talk, I swear.
Perfect.
What would you say is the most recent example of a codex like that?
Eldar.
Yeah.
Oh no, okay. I thought it didn't realize it was that easy.
Eldar, you could at least pre FAQ Tyranids.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because it had been tested pretty well.
Yeah.
Well, it's also brought up because the way IQ, because there's a lot of GTs. There's literally almost one every weekend. Or, to me, at this point, you almost have to break them down. I look at them like college postseason bowl games.
Yeah,
Because to be honest, that's the best way to describe them.
It
Because
is, yeah.
you have like the big, let's say 4 or 5 bowl games, the Rose Bowl, granddaddy of them all, which is probably Adepticon. The Cotton Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, Orange
Mhm.
Bowl. The ones they use for the playoffs.
And then you have the
really.
BCS championships, which is LVO.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that rotates between the big ones for college football.
Like Rose Bowl?
Yeah, like 1 year it's at the Rose Bowl, 1 year it's at the Orange Bowl. They switched the championship.
I thought they
game.
weren't doing that anymore.
No, they still do it.
It's the
Are you
420
sure?
Bowl now.
Oh god.
Yikes. So we already did dick jokes and weed jokes. Thanks, Tom.
That's why.
You're responsible for
I
all of
didn't
them.
do. I did an innuendo.
Whatever.
All right.
That's not according to the chat. Messiah,
but what I
Necron
mean- so what I
Warriors
mean
are
is-
one of my most hated models to put together too, but not because of the Flash. I don't care about the Flash, whatever. I just put stuff together. And Alan said, who I thought was on his way to Europe, but I guess not yet, says that it's one thing winning 3 games, but it's another winning 5 games and another going 7+ games.
Yep.
And I would totally
Very
agree
much
with
so.
that, yes.
both Alamo and I believe Storm of Silence are both 5 games for the weekend.
Right.
Which is why you have the 2 undefeated armies.
Yeah.
But and the way I see it is you have the majors, which are basically the big 3 for 40K, and then you have the second tier, which is probably Warzone Atlanta, maybe Storm of Silence, BAO, SoCal Open, things like that, and then varying degrees with like ours is like, I mean, I wouldn't even compare our local one to LVO.
No.
No, ours is like one of those like
A
not
holiday
even like
bowl.
a Fiesta Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ours is the
Tostitos Bowl.
yes.
The Tostitos Bowl.
Ours is the first one that nobody cares about. That's around Thanksgiving time.
Oh yeah, that bowl. The one that's like on Thanksgiving that nobody watches because all the pro games are on.
Yes.
Hey,
They're
Alan,
like,
don't forget your army. Alan said he's packing. He needs to not forget his army.
Oh yeah. Don't
Since
forget
he's
it.
playing in London GT, right? And actually show up and play
Yeah.
this time, okay?
Yeah,
don't
that'd be
sightsee.
helpful.
So again, congrats to the winners, JP. And unfortunately, I forgot the name of the GT, and I don't have time to look on my BCP app. But also, what happened currently is we're finishing up with our league.
Yep.
Mhm.
That I ran for you. You're welcome.
That John ran.
He is the most well-known league leader.
league leader.
Excellent joke. Excellent. Well done.
I'm assuming Tom's already buzzed.
I'm only 1 drink in. I'm fine.
That's okay. 1 drink so far, or 1 drink during the show.
Yeah. I mean, I'll keep you posted.
That's okay. We can do it, trust me.
Wow.
Once we get it.
Oh, man.
But,
show's going great.
So all of us played in the league. Danny, unfortunately, was only to play 1 game or 2,
I played 1, but I'm undefeated,
but remains undefeated.
Undefeated,
And-
yes.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day, that is the most important thing.
and I
And
beat
you
Jeff.
beat 3 Storm Surges, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Ooh.
John came in 5th,
Yes.
6th.
5th.
losing about 80% of his games.
That's fine.
So he backed in.
Submarine to the top.
It's fine.
I'm currently, I think me and you are first, third, and second and third, Tom.
You're second. I'm in third place right now.
Right, you have to play each
Okay.
other in the playoffs. First round.
Yeah, and then Danny, who is going with me to Boise Cup GT, and then Jeff, who came in 8th at LVO, round out the top 4. The way it works is we had 6 weeks of games.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
John, why don't you explain it?
So the league ran for 6 weeks, like Adam said, and it was a basic league. You could play 2 games a week as long as one of the games was on league night at the store, which is Tuesdays. And you got bonus points, so you'd win. You got 12 points for a win. You got 6 points for a loss, and I think it was 8 points for a draw. There weren't. I don't think there were any draws.
No, there weren't.
You got 2 bonus points for a Tuesday night game, and you got 1 bonus point if the person you were playing was above you on the ladder. And then I just used those points to see the ladder on a weekly basis. And then at the end of 6 weeks, it's a simple 4 seed playoff bracket. So 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3. And then they have 1 week to play all the games. And then so after that, the winner of those 2 games play each other for the overall win of the league, first and second place.
Yeah, so right now Jeff and Danny already played their game, and Danny won. He's playing Blood Angels with 2 Smash Captains, Death Company, a bunch of attacky.
Oh,
crap.
they already played? I didn't even know that.
They played.
they-
Yes.
I
Tom,
did.
Did they
Nobody
post?
communicates. No,
Yeah,
Post
no,
the results?
no.
The game hasn't
Not in the league yet. No.
Game hasn't happened until they post the results.
Boom! Tell Jeff to put in him winning. Right
Yeah,
now.
I will. I did want to highlight the fact though that weirdly enough, Danny's blood because everyone was in uproar about the FAQ and or the FAQ and about how it killed assault armies, it made them terrible, etc. And Danny has beaten me more with Blood Angels.
Tended
after
to
the
rolling
FAQ.
people in assault.
Oh my god, it's insane. And I honestly think that there's some things that I think we'll start to see, that some assault lists that will take the field like his does and really kind of make people think maybe there was more thought process to what they were doing than we hate assault armies. Maybe Reese didn't write all of the FAQ.
Just the Tau
You
section.
know,
Well,
just
with
the
the
Tau
army,
section.
with the
just
army
the
I plan to take, and made.
I hope he doesn't listen to this. He's going to kill us.
Oh, Butters, I mean Tom. Oh, damn it, why did I even look at the Twitch?
I don't know why.
I was living in blissful ignorance, like Butters.
Yes.
And like Mr. Inquisitor said, the London GT is like the equivalent of BAO. It's the second largest GT after LVO,
yeah,
actually.
it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's got almost 300 plus players at the very least. Maybe
Damn.
4.
That's incredible.
And that's only the second year, I think. So it's like a 300% increase over the first year. But,
And Alan, I'm pretty sure Reese is playing, yes.
oh yeah, Reese, Frank, I don't know if Frankie's there, but I know Reese, Jeff, In Control Robinson,
Right.
and Jason will be there.
Right. And I'm sure he went with the intention to play because he was talking about it, I think.
Yeah, so far.
So odds are good.
So I'm supposed to play Tom, which is funny
Mhm.
because it's almost like in the NFL where I play him the week before because I just played Tom this past Tuesday, and it was happy for one of us.
It was, yeah, it was
And there was much salt at the bar afterwards.
sexual harassment and makes me.
Tom, why don't you tell us about the game?
So basically,
Yeah, let's see your version, Tom. I haven't
no,
done
I'll be honest. So I'm running a quasi elite Tau list where I have 2 Riptides, a Yavara, 3 Fusion Manders, which is actually the most commanders, even pre-fact, that I've ever run.
I like that you
And
got to
then-
put that in there.
I do, because you know what?
I mean, I agree that you do, but I'm just saying I like that you
I
do.
am a damn snowflake amongst my kind, okay? And so far as I don't want to be a snowflake.
And among the Tau, that's saying something.
Yep. So then I have 3 squads of fire warriors with the turrets and Pathfinder support and a cadre. It's meant to be very elite. It really takes advantage of the some of the stratagems we use, which is part of the problem. So turn 1, Adam's got a shadow sword, some guard, a couple
yeah, let
tank
me go.
commanders. Oh yeah, you
So
go
let
ahead.
me go
Adam.
my army first. So my army, for lack of a better word, is kind of jank because I didn't take all the
Apt description.
which is why it makes this game all the much sweeter. Because I did it. It's not all the optimal. It's somewhat optimal, but not really. Because I do have a shadow sword. I do have a company commander. I have 2 tank commanders, one all plasma with a heavy bolter, one a Punisher with all heavy bolters. 2 Primera Psychers, 3 squads of guards of 9 guardsmen with a mortar, and 2 Manticores, a squadron of 2 Manticores, 1 Earthshaker carriage. Well, the one that needs guys, not the one that doesn't need guys.
That's the
Mhm.
carriage, yeah.
Is it the carriage? Um,
Not the battery.
right. And then I have a Calexis and a Calidus assassin
And a master of artillery, right?
and a Master of Ordnance.
Ordnance. That's right.
And what he does, because nobody takes him, other than giving me a free barrage on a unit, he allows the Manticores and the Earthshaker to reroll ones to hit if the target is over 36 inches.
Which came into play huge for you too. It was
In the first turn, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty big.
So what just because this actually matters, what the Calidus does is on the first turn of the game, she does not have to be on the board. But on a 4+, whenever your opponent uses a stratagem, on a 4+, they have to spend an extra command point. And if they decide not to use the stratagem, they are not allowed to use it for the rest of that phase.
Hmm. So it's not like, oh, I decided to not use it, but I'll use it later. It's like, nope.
Well, it's like, okay, I won't use this reroll, but use it later in the shooting phase. No, you got to wait till the next phase in order to use it.
Hmm.
If you're able to, like a reroll or mainly rerolls.
And my army is very stratagem dependent. And
Yes.
it usually and it's just stratagem dependent in the very beginning of the game. And that was what really killed me. Is turn 1, I was just spending double, 2-3 command points on things I should have been spending on 1 or 2.
Yeah. So go ahead, Tom. First turn. Well, I went first.
Yes, you did.
Well, what's the concept of your army? Why? My concept is basically sit back and shoot, then throw the assassins at what I need to throw them at. That's more or less the army.
So
the last thing I had was a vulture.
Oh yes, the vulture. Which actually, yeah, that was pretty nice. I should have blocked that out better. But the concept of
it actually is fairly good because even though it doesn't hold objectives, it scores for things like recon and lightbreaker still.
And it's just annoying enough to do something, but compared to everything else in your list, it always takes the second priority, which is why it's so deadly in my opinion. Because it's like, while that Shadow Sword's alive, ain't nobody gonna focus on that vulture.
Right. So go ahead. The concept for your army.
My concept is that you have the Riptides, the Avara, and the Commanders all together in a block, and then turn 1, they have decent move speeds, or you Montka if it's a longer board range, and you pick 2 or 3 things you want dead, and you make them dead. The Avara melts the heaviest of the things you need dead. One of the commanders opts out of shooting and lets the Yavara reroll all failed wound rolls. You also give a stratagem to the Yavara to reroll both of its variable dice weapons, which is insane for just 1 dice per, but still that's huge. Then the Riptides, either focus fire together or split apart and shoot down some other stuff. And the Fusion Manders, we're talking like 3 meltas each. So what I had tried to do with you is the other option you can do with that list is start the commanders in Deep Strike, and then after that, turn 1, you hide if you're hesitant about going first, you hide your Riptides. Yavara jumps into space turn 1, so he can jump down turn 2 with the commanders in the enemy deployment zone per the FAQ.
Right.
Then the Riptides pop out of cover on turn 2 and do long range shooting because their guns are such long range. So I should have done that, but I did not do that. Instead, I was pretty confident that I'd be able to weather the storm, which I kind of did.
I only killed 1 unit.
Yes, and it was a unit. You only killed 1 unit of drones your first turn, and I think the marksman.
No, it was just a unit of drones.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then I put a bunch of wounds. I took your 1 Riptide down to like 3 wounds or something like that.
Yep.
And that was basically it.
But
Which
importantly, Adam did get the first turn, and he won.
But the thing,
why you gotta ruin the build up, John?
Here's
I
the
know.
thing,
Oh,
John.
Spoilers.
People already
John.
knew from the salt level we were talking about Tom having that he.
Well,
win
but
this game.
here, okay, so here's
Well, no,
here's
Tom
where
could
this,
be one of those pricks that just gets salty even when he wins.
Oh,
Yeah,
which
I have a
I'm
lot of those.
which I'm not. I get quiet when I win because I don't want to be too excited, or else I'll be one of those pricks.
It depends who it is, and then I may get excited or start making fun of them.
No, the problem though was on my turn. I'm like, okay, I got hit decently hard. One of my Riptides is about to die, but I got a Stim Injector stratagem. He's basically at full health, no big deal. Put all my shit up there, and then I start spending money. I start spending stratagems, and I start losing a ton. And I'm like, oh crap! So that kind of throws me off because I'm thinking turn 2 I need to save some because what if I don't kill everything I need to on turn 1? And for me, kill everything I need to was the Shadow Sword, and at best another tank commander. And the thing is that the Shadow Sword, as opposed to most vehicles, is, it's got the 2-up armor and the 8-up armor save. So I was fine with the 8-up because insofar as the big gun on the Avara...
No, you mean the 8-up
toughness.
toughness.
Yes, I'm sorry, I misspoke. So I was like, whatever, I reroll wounds, I don't care. I actually did a decent amount. But the thing is that I was forcing Adam to roll 5s and not 6s. And as a result of that, it just...
There was I
don't think I rolled a single 4 that game, and I have all shield invulns. So I either made the random 6 or 1, 2s, and 3s.
Yeah.
And I'm also ballistic skill 4 if you want to use 7.
And the Shadow Sword, I got the -1 hit and the +1 armor for the Shadow Sword.
Yeah, none of your second powers failed all game. And
Well,
you got back 75% of the CPs too. Oh my god.
Yeah. But by the end of turn 1, Tom had, I think, 3 CPs left out of how many?
Out of
8.
Out of
9?
10, -1 for an additional relic.
Yeah, you had 3 CPs left, and I think I cost you an additional 4 or 5.
Easily.
On
My
the
first turn stratagem CP math only cost me 3 because it's 1,
Right.
1, and 1.
And then to give the best example of how Tom's shooting went and how my dice rolling was, Tom had done five wounds with the Avara, with the flamer that does 3 damage each.
3 damage each.
So it would have been 15. It actually would have taken me down to like, I would have started to suffer the damage because I was using, instead of being smart and using Valhallan for my regiment, I actually used Armageddon.
Which I was surprised at, actually.
Well, I like the way the Armageddon guys look. So
Because Adam needs a reason for his losses.
there is that too, yes.
Not just that he's a bad player.
Why'd you lose? Well, I should have run this as Valhalla, but I just like Steel Legion. Well,
No,
I could have run this as Alpha Legion, but I just like Black Legion.
It's so he can say, the list broke before the guard.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like
This
that.
will be the last time Tom's on.
Oh, come on. I only just discovered that meme today, too.
Seriously? How'd you only
Oh,
just
wow.
discover that meme?
I don't know.
Have you not been on the internet for a while?
Actually, no, I have. I just have been in the right places, apparently.
Yeah, you stay in the Tau groups.
No, I don't stay in the Tau groups. I stay the f away from those.
So he does
Groups
5
and the
wounds.
Christian missionary groups.
Well, one form of that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Well,
That's a whole different podcast.
if John's going to complain about it, I'm just going to feed.
I'm not complaining
That was
about
bad
it.
terminology too.
I wasn't the one complaining about it.
And Mr. Inquisitor, I would make fun of not about it if I beat him.
Yes, that would be, yes. Adam
So-
would totally do that.
So there were 5 saves I had to make. It -2, so it was 5 4-up saves, and I actually 4 out of the 5.
All right. Well
And
done.
I had 20 wounds left, so that would have taken me down to 5 if I had missed them all.
So that's why Tom was cranky when I extended my tape measure and started trying to knock models off of your table?
Yes.
Yeah, from about 10 feet away, yes.
Yeah, seems like a good idea to me.
I was
in
actually
a-
praying your tape measure would break. I was like, please let it break.
In addition, Tom was literally standing right in front of my army. Which I don't understand if you're a shooting army, but okay.
The reason was because the thing about the hammer thing too is that all of my stuff has fly, and so against different guard armies that bring more Lehmans versus shadow swords, I can then charge the Lehmans, especially on a short board edge where I didn't have to monk Ka, and then do that. But the thing is that I made a mistake because of the shooting phase. I wanted to get in as fast as possible. I was like, wait, that fucker can still back up and shoot, and he can still shoot even if he's in. Oh no! So I was thinking about it, and then I looked at my charge vectors, and there was no way I could get to your other stuff, and I just kind of was like, ah, crap.
Yeah.
And then turn 2, when it was yours, I couldn't. I have 4-up invols on all of my important stuff.
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah. No.
You deleted in a turn. You finished off the Riptide. You
Right.
deleted You deleted the Yavara,
Yes.
and then you artillery to death the rest of my
All your
shield drone.
commanders.
Well, no, that was
No,
turn 3.
one of your shield domes didn't make it. He rolled like a 1 or something.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was just it was bad.
It was like delete. Then my shadow sword charged his ward.
Which is why we got across the street to the bar earlier than normal.
Yes.
And which is why I got a little more tipsy than normal.
And Tom taught me about a pickleback, which I had no idea what that was.
Which is a really, really great drink. And next time I'll get you one.
Yeah, I'll totally try one the next time.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's totally worth trying. It's personally my favorite stupid drink to get.
Okay, Danny, have you heard of the pickleback before?
I have not.
See? Thank you. God, yes.
It must be an East Coast thing then.
What is it?
Are you from the East Coast?
Sounds disgusting.
It's well, technically, as in most of my extended family is on the East Coast. I lived on the East Coast for about 4 years when I was a kid, and I lived on the East Coast for about 2 years when I was an adult. I mean, most of my roots and my impressions and life. I don't know. Even when I get drunk, I start to have a Boston accent because of my dad.
Nice. We need to get him drunk more often and record it.
Yeah,
That's doable.
that is stupid. But you know what? You can get me some chowder.
No, I said doable. I didn't say stupid.
Doable. No, but a pickleback is where you have a shot of whiskey, any choice, preferably bourbon, or you can do Irish too, and then you chase it with a shot of pickle juice.
That's fucking disgusting.
It's delicious. It is so
That was
good.
my reaction too, Danny.
All right, I have to keep it somewhat PG, but yeah, I'm just like just
You're
que
alone on this one,
cochino,
Tom.
man.
You gotta do something back east another time.
seriously, like. I mean, when you're just straight chugging pickle juice, I don't know, man. I think it's time to reevaluate life choices.
The great part is that my Discord froze, so I didn't hear anything until you said I have to reevaluate life choices, and I was like, I know
That's not
that.
true.
Or you can be like Mr. Inquisitor says and be a man and just take a shot of whiskey without a chaser.
Mr. Inquisitor, I am drinking whiskey straight currently.
Yeah.
I do that normally. That's called my fun I don't care drink.
Yeah, that's not something that I would generally say about Tom in terms of like his manliness. There's other reasons we can call his manhood into question,
Oh yeah, there's plenty of them.
but definitely not the whiskey drinking.
No, I put down. Sometimes I can put down enough whiskey to kill a full grown anything.
If Tom were a fish, his fish bowl would not have water in it. It'd just have Irish whiskey.
Hoity toity toity toity.
So Tom, anything you change on the list?
I really do like the list. I do miss having ghost keels because that's another thing I had with stealth suits for the infiltration aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about the ghost keels is they serve the same purpose as the vulture, where they're just annoying enough to do some damage, but they're not the biggest bait in the world. Or people do go for them, and then guess what? My Riptide Yavaran commanders go ham.
Yeah, I've made that mistake before. The first time I was playing against Tau in the tournament down in Temecula, both Tau players that were there, I played both. They both had ghost skills, and in both games, I went after the squishy ghost skills first to kind of get points.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, it's probably a mistake because now I'm not getting the other points that I need, like the main points, and I'm not killing the stuff that's going to get them points because I didn't realize the ghost kills output was so bad.
Yeah, it's bad, but the insane thing though is what I like about them is if you make them Tau step, first off, they're overwatching on 5s, and a lot of the time they die to assaults or really up close and personal business, and so that makes them a little more deadly because I might not have hit a shuttle game, but I just hit you with 2 Overwatch Meltas.
Right.
The other thing too is that like if they do get marker light support, or if you have all 3 of them focus firing a single target, it's nuts. They're amazing infantry killers and elite killers too.
Yeah, they were pretty good. If I left them alive because I was playing Grey Knights, they would mow through strike squads.
So I think what I might do is I might drop. I had the heavy burst cannon tied, and it's a good tide variant, but I don't know if I am sold on it. So I might drop it and try and reintroduce at least 2 ghost kills, and then fill out the 3rd slot with what's his face, the stealth suits.
Just one unit.
Just 1 unit. Maybe make it a bigger unit if I have the points. So instead of 3, maybe 4 to 6. Because you put shield generators on any of those infiltrating -1 to hit units, and they just became so hard to uproot. And that's actually that was part of the reason that actually I think the very first game of our league, Adam, you and I played each other, and that was what pissed you off, was the ghost kills.
Yeah, I shot the ghost kills. Yeah, the ghost kills because I didn't
give you any other targets.
No, I could have shot at the riptides and stuff, but the ghost kills were the closest. So of course you're the most. Your initial reaction is to shoot at the closest thing to you because you think it's the most dangerous.
Exactly.
Which is why when I asked about the stealth suits, I'm like, I ain't gonna shoot those things. They have minuses. I don't like minuses. I'm gonna shoot at things without minuses. Which is why I shot at the Yavara and the riptides instead.
Right, but the difference is that the ghost kills, you can bring meltas on them. So it's like, it's got a minus, but it's got a melta. And now it's like, oh, maybe I should kill them.
Nah, I'm still scared of the bigger things.
Well, that's because you played against me enough, that's why. So I might do that. In fact, I'm going to list build while we talk.
Oh, God, good. Maybe you'll be quiet.
You literally have been asking me questions. Danny, you literally haven't said a thing.
Because I know when to stay in my lane. All right, guys.
I know when to stay in my lane when we're doing it in person because Adam just kicks me in the shin. I don't have a shin kicker right now, so I don't know what to do.
It's too much fun.
That's a fairly decent point.
Visual learner.
Yes.
You want to tell us about your fabulous army and how well it did?
I won a couple games. Okay, get off my.
I think they were both against my brother.
No, I won a game against.
No, against me.
Yeah, I won a game against you.
You went first.
I won a re-rack against Jeff, but we counted the first one as the game for the league.
Oh, okay.
But we re-racked, and so I could go first. And guess what happened?
You lost.
I won.
Because they're Green Knights.
No, because I went first.
John, I swear to God.
What?
It's not about going.
It's the way it is with that army. I'm not saying it's the way it is, period, but you know,
when you bring a list. When you bring a list when you bring a list like John and I brought with the Shadow Sword,
you have to.
You need to go first. When I played against Danny and his Blood Angels, he actually seized on me, and I basically lost the game.
So when you play,
I went first against Danny too, and I still lost too.
No, it's not when you play bad lists. It's when your bad list is dependent on something that shoots and can't really hide.
Yeah,
like
the Shadow Sword.
Really, like Shadow Sword.
Right. Adam and I are both playing a Shadow Sword. So my list is Adept Astra Militarum, the Super Heavy Detachment. What the hell is that thing called?
The Supreme Command.
Supreme Command.
Yes.
The thing everybody hates. The Supreme Command with Shadow Sword, 2 Primaris Psychers, and Company Commander with the Kirovs, Aquila, whatever, and the Command Shroud.
Right.
Where I get, it's the CP farm basically.
But yeah.
And then I take a battalion of Grey Knights with 2 Grandmaster Dread Knights, 3 10-man squads of Grey Knights, strike squads with double sight cannons in each, and then I take 1 10-man that's all falchions and stormbolters, and then I take 1 8-man squad with a sight cannon also. So that way I can start to deploy some stuff on the board since the new FAQ. And then I can still deep strike other stuff. So the list basically requires me to be able to deep strike, period, no matter what. Being able to gate still 1 unit first turn was nice. That was cool. It was Also good in my last game against Adam's brother John to screen out some stuff early on. And then that's pretty much the list. The list is pretty simple. It's a CP farm. I spend tons of CPs making bolters and side cannons and stuff better.
Yeah.
And by letting my my grandmasters shoot again or fight again when they die, that's when I use all the time because it's pretty good. When you kill the thing in combat, if you're close to dead and getting to swing again, I'm killing you off too. Basically, we're gonna trade.
Unless it's a Thunder Blood Angel Thunder Captain.
No, I did that against Danny. I killed the Blood Angel Thunder Captain in combat.
You sure? Because the
Oh,
game
no,
I
your
saw,
brother. I did it against your brother.
yeah, because the game I saw, he did the same thing to me, where he made all 5 of his 3+ invulnerable slaves.
No, your brother's big Thunder Captain guy I took out pretty easily.
Oh, okay. That's because he's just a guy.
Yeah, that's true. He was just a dude. He wasn't.
You're just a
Blood
boy.
Angel. But yeah, my games were fine. I mean, I won games, I lost games. There were some that were good, and there were some that were bad. It was a normal league games.
So what changes are you going to make to the army to make it better?
I'm not. It's same
Necrons.
Tupperware bin in my hobby closet. I literally came home that night, just like I told you guys I was going to do at the bar, and I took it out of the car, and I opened the empty Tupperware bin I had for it, and I put it all in there, and I put it in my hobby closet, and now I'm building Necrons. Because that was my plan the whole time, was to build the Necrons that I got, and play that for the next couple of months and take them to BAO. So
Yeah,
you see my Bay Area Open Army here on the table being built.
the list I have right now that I played against Tom is most likely the final form of that list. It started with a bunch of Lehman Russ's
Is that what you're
Lehman
doing,
Russ
the Boise
tanks.
Cup?
No, I'm actually going to take Chaos.
So then why is there a final form of your list?
Just because that's how it ended up. From where it started to where it ended.
So final form for this league, you mean?
For this league, yeah. I may bring it out again, you never know.
Sure, sure.
But I need to play Chaos for the next league because practice for Boise.
Yeah.
But I was thinking having the assassins help a lot. Not so much the Calexis, but I haven't played against a Psyker army, anybody with Psychers yet. But having the Calidus is amazing because of all, just especially if I'm hot rolling the pluses in the first
It'd be
turn.
interesting to see how it did against me running my Psychers.
I would probably wreck you. Especially after turn 2 when the Calexis comes in.
I mean, your brother ran one against me, and it didn't really help him that much.
Well, I have the Calexis and the Calidus. The Calidus has the special rule where I come within D6 plus 3 inches, and it's basically a character killer.
John, I'm hoping that the Necrons are ready by the end of the weekend. Built. Maybe not primed, but built. Hopefully primed.
They'll probably be done by next week.
Once you prime them, then they're basically painted.
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing mine red and gold, but even then, the red and gold...
Just make sure the 3 colors.
Yeah. I will make sure that there are 3 distinct colors.
Danny has a
not
Sharpie in
layers
case
of
you
colors
need
that
any.
I have to scratch off my model in order for you to see the underlying layers.
Because that's never happened.
No, never. That doesn't happen.
So, I think
Fake
this
news.
is that. I think what I have right now is more or less. I do have trouble with deep striking armies, even if they come in turn 2, because I don't have enough bodies to screen out.
Mhm.
So we'll see if I happen to win against Tom, and I have to play Danny again. We'll see how that goes. I don't think
Yeah.
I'll make any changes.
Just use your guard to phase them out.
I may just drop the mortars because I don't think the mortars don't do too much. You just have 10 guys.
Well, the league game list is locked, so whatever you use against me,
No,
you
The
have.
playoff game is locked.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. The playoff, whatever list you use against me.
I haven't played you yet, so yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So I may
Well,
just,
Well, then the Shadow Sword's like a huge vulnerability against Danny. You're totally gonna beat me. So just don't even use the Shadow Sword, and then yeah, you should be fine.
I would just like to point out really quickly, Tom made a phase out joke, and he's too young to remember phase out.
Yes.
Then I did it accidentally. What?
yes,
Phase out?
it was accidentally.
He's too young to remember phase out, isn't he? Good lord.
What? Because I did a
Necrons used to have a rule where if it was 3/4, right, Danny?
No, it was no 70. Yes, 3/4.
75%.
75%,
Yeah.
3/4. If 75%, meaning 3/4 of your Necron army was dead, you lost.
No, Your warriors.
Your warriors.
Right,
You
or
lost.
infantry.
Oh
right?
no, I know about that rule.
Right.
You guys have told me about that before, but I didn't experience it ever in
Yep.
person.
It was pretty brutal.
That's all you.
That was the
care
way
about
you
when
won.
play Necrons. Yeah, and that's when monoliths were good.
Oh yeah, I loved my trip monolith list.
the trip
Just
monolith
free
was the
monoliths
meta.
as many years
That
as I
was-
could fit.
Trip monolith was the
Adam,
meta.
Cuddle Bunny 455 says, "What other weapon would you recommend on a Hellbrute with a twin las cannon?"
For the other hand, if you're going long range, maybe an autocannon. It depends. It depends on points and
Twin
points you want to
autocannon,
spend.
or that's what comes on it, right? Twin autocannons.
It comes with actually it comes with a bunch of weapons.
Oh, okay.
It depends. If you're gonna sit back and shoot, you can probably do twin autocannon or heavy bolter. If it's just gonna be fire support,
Mhm.
I tend to run more aggressive with my Hellbrute / Contemptors. So I used to run one with Power Fist and the Scourge.
I think it's all about those deep striking Leviathan Deathwatch guys.
Mine is on order. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're kind of
Leviathan.
expensive. They're almost 400 points for an elite army. That's makes it super elite.
Yes. Well, that army's going to be super elite.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd use up all those points for a Leviathan.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm spending. I think it's 3 command points to deep strike.
Don't rain on my love.
I'm not.
Dreadnought army.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. That was not what's going to come out of my mouth. Danny, what would you? Now you only played the one game, but what was your list and what did you like about the Tyranid list you ran? Because it wasn't like the all fly runs all the time.
No, I actually built it before the FAQ, assuming in the FAQ.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 3 fly runs.
Did you just assume my FAQ?
I did, and I was correct. So
My FAQ is not your prom dress, okay? Just
Wow.
all right.
I like
oh,
that.
yeah, I thought we were going political for a second. My bad.
That's fine. I like that. Okay, continue, Danny. Continue.
How many?
So I had 3 Chronos fly rents to spread Shadow of the Warp and all that good stuff. All of them pure DACA, which was a mistake, but it worked out okay.
Now, why was it a mistake?
Because you need them to be able to fight. Like, especially using 24 strength 6 shots with no AP doesn't really do a lot to Marines at the end of the day.
Okay.
It just, especially without the reroll hit that old tyrants used to have. So you're just not.
Did it work out well because you were playing Tau Storm Surges, or why did it work out okay?
It would have worked out. It worked out well because I was doing enough damage with my Hive Guard.
Okay.
And old One Eye. So that's basically what won me that game was my Hive Guard. And I had a Kronos Battalion, 2 Neurothropes, a bunch of cheap Termagants, and full unit of Hive Guard, and then a Behemoth. Behemoth battalion of Hormagaunts and Rippers for basically just board control and some strategy shenanigans. But my Hive Guard went super hot.
No anti-psyker tech. That's Jormungandr, right?
No, that's Kronos.
No, that's Kronos.
That is Kronos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was wasted on Tau, but it's still always nice to have.
Jormungandr?
It's the one that gets that always acts as in cover if it doesn't advance or charge.
That's right.
And has
really
like the
good.
They're really great at tunneling because you can take 50 point unit, like a 50-point unit of Raveners, and use that to basically deep strike in Brood Lords and infantry.
Nice.
So you can use that. That's actually a really good way to use Hive Guard with shot cannons if you're really worried about like Shadow Swords, because you can deep strike them in really close for cheap, and then they do tons of mortal wounds to vehicles.
Yeah, I feel like with the Tyranid Codex, and Danny, you can absolutely correct me if I'm wrong, has like when it comes to the new way they're doing the codexes, where everything's got like multiple ways to build stuff. I feel like the Tyranid Codex has the most like types of detachments or mini factions within them that are the best, that are playable. I mean, like Space Marines, you play Ultramarines.
Yeah, because you're not going to play Imperial Fist.
Right, and like even with Necrons, like there's 3 standouts.
Don't tell Paul that.
No, Paul knows.
He knows. He just chooses to play his Imperial Fist. It's fine.
Because he's going to win Best Painted.
That's true. But yeah, so like Necrons have like 3. I think Chaos has like 2. CSMs, I mean. But I think Tyranids have the most.
Oh
Like,
no, I
playable
think
ones.
pretty much every Tyranid High Fleet, if you build it right, is a legitimate choice, and that's because I think Tyranids just over. Besides maybe, or actually, I think overall can have the most varied builds of any codex.
Mm-hmm.
I think Eldar is the strongest single codex still, but
Yes.
Tyranids just like, especially if you can choose, if you get to choose your list and you know your matchups, like Tyranids can just be soul destroying. Because Kronos is great anti-psyker tech. Jorgander is great deep strike shenanigans as well as some resilience. Leviathan is super resilient for the objective game.
Mm-hmm.
Hydra is really great for Horde and making really cheap Hormigaunt units actually somewhat dangerous in combat. Kraken is super fucking fast with Gene Stealers and Hive Tyrants. And then who else am I missing? Gorgon can do some work if you like taking the weirder Tyranid monsters that don't get the natural reroll to ones to hit from Sighting Talons, like Dimacarons and Haruspexes and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or even melee tyrants with Rending Claws. Like that, they can actually get kind of scary just because they get to reroll ones to hit in melee.
Nice.
So suddenly a Hive Tyrant with, your standard Flyrant just shooting, and then the Rending Claws has a 2-up rerollable in melee.
Damn.
Yeah. Get some mileage out of those 4 attacks.
Yeah, I feel like if you had the time to play more of the games, you would have done much better in the league because that kind of that army can be tailored much better than a lot of the other ones.
Oh yeah, I mean they really excel in that league format. I couldn't get to Pasadena. I mean I only got to play Jeff because he only lives like 20 minutes from me.
Right.
So I just go play at his house. Right, but actually having to drive out to Pasadena and then get just doesn't work.
Especially that
Unfortunately
time
right
of day.
now.
Yeah, that's tough.
No, I love my Tyranid. I don't think I've been this happy with them since Nidzilla in 4th edition.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're just
they had some doldrums for a long time there.
yeah. We had the Flyrants. I mean, I still have 7 Flyrants, so
Right.
Well,
I
I mean,
was all 6 and 7.
speaking of codexes that had doldrums, though, I mean, one of the reasons I couldn't complain as a Tau Index player was because I was like, at least I'm not a fucking Necron player. So,
Wow.
Well, I mean, honestly, but I feel like, I don't know. I personally would love to start talking about that,
Sure.
just because, like, I feel like there's so much going on with them now. I mean, hell, you just bought a whole list, John.
I did buy the entire army that I wanted to do.
Well, before we make the switch, John, are there any changes? Because we start the league once we're done with the finals, right?
Oh yeah. I think that what we're gonna do for you mean in the finals themselves?
Yeah. Are you going to start when the finals about to be played, or just because we're finishing? I play Tom on Tuesday, and then whoever wins, whenever they're going to play Danny, probably the next day.
So next week the new league will start. Next week what we'll do is we'll have a free night to play where if you come and play you get bonus points for the next league.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll start off with some bonus points on the ladder. Just
Okay.
encourage people to come, and then I want to get some people's thoughts on stuff when we're there, and not be a total dictator about everything. Although
But that's your style.
I will
Yeah,
make
I don't
I
know
will
of any
make
other
the
way
final
to manage.
decisions. Okay, I will make all the. Final
So you're a
decisions.
benevolent dictator.
It's the illusion of democracy.
Yes.
Also, hello
a
to-
true megalomaniac. Which is ironic. I was teaching about that today. We were talking about Alexander the Great, and I was like, well, okay, we're going to use the term. It's a megalomaniac. But so I want input on like Jeff's idea of being able to play one game a week.
Only one.
Yeah. Which I like and don't like for a couple of reasons. And then he wanted to be able to like have them play. You can play as many games as you want, but only your best score counts. And I was like, no, because then what you end up happening, which we had in other leagues that we've done, which is people just keep playing games until they have a max score. And
Right.
Then they stop.
And by people, you mean Danny Kwan.
This was this
you
problem
would
actually
still keep playing.
predates
Who are
Danny
we kidding?
Kwan, and actually Danny Ruiz probably remembers this league because it was the fifth. It was when I was running the 5th edition leagues at Game Empire way back in the day.
Oh yeah, I
We
remember
did a
that
couple
because
of
I was
leagues
doing
with-
that. That was before I.
You were one of the people
know.
doing that. You and I were doing that because I was working at the store and you were always at the store.
Yeah, because I
Well,
lived
Danny-
like 15 minutes away, and I
Yep,
didn't have a full time job, and I wasn't married, and I didn't have a kid.
exactly.
Well, Danny Kwan did it like 2 leagues ago when we
Yeah.
didn't have a limit on how many games you can play per week.
Yeah, when I had the no limit on games, you could play as many as you wanted.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing, right? Yeah. So it's a different problem. So we probably won't do that, but we might try a league where you can play one game a week.
It doesn't have to be on, but
It doesn't have to be on Tuesday, but in that league, I think what I'm going to do is games played on Tuesday will give you a bigger bonus than just 2 points.
okay.
I think something else too you could do. I mean, just throwing this out there is, I'd say that if you're playing somebody higher ranked than you, you could probably get bigger bonus points too. Or else you get a guy who's lost the first 2 weeks in a row, and they're looking at all the other scores and they're like, you know what, I'm dropping because I'm not going to catch up.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking I'm gonna do it where if you beat somebody who's higher on the ladder than you,
You get the higher.
Yeah, yeah. You should get a bigger bonus for beating somebody above you.
yes, yeah, and that was originally my intention, but I didn't word it that way, and then I was like, fuck, well, I'm not gonna go back and like redo the whole thing.
So you basically lived through what happens to GW every codex.
Except I wasn't willing to go and FAQ it. No, yes, so sort of, yeah.
So pre 8th edition at GW.
Yeah,
No, pre 8th edition, he just wouldn't say anything.
yeah, exactly. Hey, Tony. Tony from Hammerhead Game says hi.
Hammerhead Games, check them out.
Yes, for sure. They make all the cool tokens and stuff we use.
John,
Yeah.
you play Necrons in the league?
Yes, I will play Necrons in the league.
Tom, you playing Tau?
In the next league, I'm probably going to switch it up and play Dark Angels because I was using this league to figure out what I wanted to do for my tournament tile list. I got a good idea of that, and now I kind of want to start going back on the Imperial Horse and trying out making the Deathwing Raven thing work a little better.
I'm switching to Chaos to practice for Boise Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Danny, you think you might be able to come out for a game or two?
Yeah, I'll probably make it work sometime. I'll bring my Tyranids as usual.
Okay. Since John, you're playing Necrons. I know I'm playing Necrons, but they're kind of on the back burner at this point.
Yeah.
Because of Boise.
Which means they'll never get done. You'll probably end up selling some of them to me. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't. I don't sell my armies anymore.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I still do.
I
I'm not
learned
gonna
that
be
lesson.
selling the Grey Knights and Adeptus Mechanicus or Astra Militarum because I don't want to paint them to sell them, and nobody wants to buy Grey Knights. So I'm not doing that.
What is your preliminary list like anyway?
So Klopfoot asked what dynasty the Necrons are going to be, and the answer is I'm going to paint them generic enough that I don't have to commit.
Joan Collins. We're gonna be Joan Collins dynasty.
I don't like to paint my armies so that I have to commit to any one like chapter or whatever. This is something that I'm famous for or infamous for, if you're certain people.
Wait.
Wow.
Alan says he's boycotting the next league, but he only played 2 games in the last one, so that's fine.
Yeah. So basically, the result is the same. You're not there.
Tony says to not let other people higher up on the ranks turn down games.
We never had that.
We don't have that problem, Tony. Yeah. Everybody in our leagues want to play, even the people at the top. Nefrek sounds good, Klopfoot. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to paint that either. So mine are going to be gold and red. Which ironically is kind of like Novak, which is the assault, or Novak, however you want to say it, was the assault one. I'm probably going to run Mefrit because the way this list I want it to work is going to be Mefrit. It depends though, because I'm going to play the whole league with it. I'm going to try to play as many games as possible. Once the second week or so of January, Jesus. Once the second week of June or so comes around, I should have time freed up to actually play in a couple of tournaments prior to getting to the Bay Area Open.
Because that's your target.
That's the target. The target is to take them to Bay Area Open and do well with them there. But if I can't make Mefrit work, then I won't play Mefrit. If I need to, pick up Wraiths and Destroyers, then I'll pick up Wraiths and Destroyers. If I need to pick up... I'm not going to do Flayed ones because I hate that. I don't like the aesthetic. I don't like the idea behind it. I don't find any of that appealing.
So you're just talking about the unit period, like every aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't, and I'm not one of those people who very often like, this is stupid in the fluff, and so don't play it. Like, I played Liberius Conclave, and I played
Thousand Suns were loyal. Literally played against
Magnus
a guy
did
who said
nothing
that.
wrong.
That I again played against somebody who did said that. It was
Yes,
like, okay,
right.
dude.
Tony said that he meant for the lower ranked players to get extra points to beat higher ranked players. To end in strategic denial could lock in a win. I understand.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess if we're adding that mechanic, that could be a problem. Okay, well, I could just keep track of that and drop the hammer on people who refuse games. But the leagues are also small enough that I don't think it'd be an issue because eventually they wouldn't be able to play anybody, and then they lose their spot. So yeah, for me, I'm not one of those players who normally is like that unit is stupid. I won't play it, like the Wolftide and Librarius Conclave lists I was playing. But there's times where I'm like, you know what, I just can't. It's not a fluff thing. I just really don't like the whole idea of everything behind the flayed ones. I just think it's stupid. Plus the models are jank.
Well, the reason I mentioned it too is because they were actually one of the Warhammer community article like focuses. They were like, "Oh my god, you guys, flayed ones, you could totally use them with no
these models
vote."
are great, and by the way, you can't buy them. And by the way, we're not making new ones. So you know what? Whatever. I'd be running destroyers actually, except they're not available.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can't buy destroyers anywhere. They come in squadrons of 3, boxes of 3 for $50, and GW could have gotten $250 from me. However, they don't have them in stock, so they did not get my $250. So, oh well.
Danny, any changes for your bugs?
Oh yeah. I need to actually one infantry unit I don't have enough of is I need to get another probably 20 gene stealers. So the new list I'm running is going to be Kraken Battalion with 3 fly rents, 2 squads of 19 gene stealers, and then a Ripper Swarm, and then a Kronos Battalion with 6 Hive Guard, Exocrine, 2 Zone Thropes, or 2 Neuron Thropes, and then like 90 Termagants for chaff. And just have my shooting in the back, sit there, rain death, and have a lot of pressure with the super fast gene stealers on the first turn. And if I really need to, I can actually hide them spore nodes or whatever on the first turn to kind of, if I know I'm going against a lot of anti-infantry. And yeah, so I think that'll work. It's actually, after I built that list, like a week later, I saw Nick Nanavati and Matt Root's like list discussion of Tyranids, and we're building lists more or less. So that's at least a sign that it's a decent list if those guys are working with it too.
If they're doing it, you're probably on the right track.
See, that's great when you get that validation of other people having the same ideas as you do, whose opinion you respect, which is something I never feel as a Tau player.
Well, Paul McCovey.
Because I don't hear like, oh, what do you guys think of this? It's more like really just badly broken English, asking the most inane questions / well, everybody's limited to 3, but we're limited to 1 per detachment, so we're still worse off. Thanks, Reese.
Oh yeah, God, they're cancer. They are such cancer.
Like I said, I may have to build a tower.
Please, I mean, Jeff, I love that. I loved that Jeff did it. I love that he ran 3 storm surges and did it well. And like he fully admitted today, like to our chat, was like, "Oh yeah, it's totally not my play style." Blah blah. And I'm like, well, you didn't play it like it wasn't your play style. You played it well. Like,
well, that's why Jeff finished 8th at the LVO, and none of us have done that.
Yeah. Well, it helped that I didn't go, but
Well, I was judging, so.
If it's in February, there's a shot.
It's in February. It's like February 8th.
So you're saying there's a chance?
If it's in February, there is a chance. Yeah.
It's in February 8th.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
If it's February 8th, okay, that's kind of screws me. But I'll figure it out.
Why?
Because that's
the something?
No, it's the start of the 9th would be the start of
Tony.
That Monday would be the start, so I'd have to fly out. Yeah, Sunday.
Tony, there was one point where in 7th or 8th edition Index Tau, I actually said that seriously, so I'll confess that.
He did, Tony, yes. But we all kind of respected him for it because he wasn't doing badly. He wasn't one of the Tau guys who was constantly losing and saying he was playing in hardcore mode. He was actually winning and saying he was playing in hard mode. So that's different. See, don't ever say anything nice about you, Tom.
Well, no, I'm
talking
just
about Paul McCovey.
No, don't get home.
And there's the illusion of
Yeah.
friendship.
Yeah. So Tony also said that I should
I'll
just
never
get the
say anything nice
Deceiver and
about
3
Tom.
Tesseract Vaults, but I'm not going to play the Deceiver and 3 Tesseract Vaults because I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't want to buy, build, or transport 3 Tesseract Vaults.
And then have it get nerfed by GW.
Yeah, and then have them get nerfed by GW in the September FAQ. So
Clapfoot said that Necron Destroyers are in stock now.
say what? I'm going to
And
Games Workshop.com.
Yeah.
I just got an email from Frontline Gaming today, actually, because I was emailing back and forth about like, hey, do you know when that's going to happen? Like, and they were like, no, they don't get any insider info about when stuff's going to come back in stock, I guess. But okay, let's see. Where's Necron's on
Got to
there?
sign up for the email
Where's
alerts.
Necron's?
Tom, what are you gonna do for Dark Angels?
For Dark Angels, I'm definitely going to keep running Ravenwing. I really did like running them. Deathwing Knights, when I was running them, they hit like a damn truck, but getting them into close combat sucks. And
Are they
I've
elites
talked
or
to
fast attack?
the Ravenwing are fast attack.
No, destroyers.
Oh, Destroyers are heavy.
I listened to you.
No, they're fast attack.
Yeah,
They're fast attack.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, heavy Destroyers are destroyed. Wah, wah, wah.
Yes, heavy destroyers are
No,
somehow.
it still says temporary allowed to stock online.
Derp is derp, you guys.
I'm looking at the page right now, and I have the page displayed. And
I can see it,
says
yeah.
Temporarily out of stock.
Who's the liar that said?
You gotta click on the unit and
you know
say
what the thing is, like,
he's saying click on it.
I know, but when you click, but if you put it in your cart and go to order them, apparently you can't. You get an email.
Just click on it, John.
Just click on it. Do it.
No, but
You want me to
Adam, to answer the rest of the
all
question,
my credit card info live on Twitch,
Yes.
yeah, please do.
and that could be one of those horror stories about people who put their things in live on Twitch and then have all their life fall apart.
So, I actually own a TFG heirloom for those who don't know, which is Danny Ruiz's awesome Elysians list, and what with getting married and such and having storage space, I was thinking of selling it, and I asked him, I was like, hey dude, do you mind if I sell it? And he's like, yeah, no, life's life, you gotta do what you gotta do. And the other day I was thinking about Dark Angels, and I was like, you know what really goes well with Dark Angels? Elysians.
Really?
I think so. I think there's a synergy there insofar as you have Dark Angels on the board. You even post-fac, you have Dark Angels on the board. You kind of use the Ravenwing in a very moot manner where you just kind of like grab some objectives and stay out of sight. And then turn 2, boom, you rush out with the Ravenwing with Sammy. And then you've got Elysian Valkyries and Vultures just dropping. And per a recent FAQ, the veterans can disembark when the Valkyrie disembarks as well.
Sounds like
More
cheating.
importantly, they can't get shot by anything that stratagem that lets them
Right.
shoot things coming in.
Right, because all that stratagem can shoot is the Valkyrie.
So apparently, when you click on the thing to order it, the availability says it's in stock. So we're gonna see what happens when I order one. Not live on the internet. I'm not, and there's no way, Tony, that I'm giving you my mother's maiden name and last 4 digits of my social security number.
You can trust Tony.
Yeah, Tony, I trust. The rest of the internet, I don't.
He'll just give, yeah.
Huh. So apparently, I ordered a Necron Destroyer Squadron, and we're gonna
Actually-
see if I get an email telling me it's out of stock or what. So we'll see. Cool. Thanks, man. Thanks, Clapfoot. I appreciate it.
Mr. Inquisitor, I agree. Abaddon is a great Dark Angels compliment.
See, Tom only really cares about Tau and the fluff. He plays Dark Angels because he thinks they look cool.
No, that's actually
He likes the robes.
okay. That is not
Reminds
true.
him of college.
That is not okay. We didn't have hoods, but we did wear cinctures. So, but no,
Whoa.
no.
Were you also part of the castrati there, Tom?
The cantata castrati? No. Luckily, my voice wasn't good enough. No. You kidding? The Tau fluff is fun. I love the entirety of the 40K fluff, honestly, and quite honestly, I mean, I have a metro ride that takes a decent amount of time in the morning, and I've been tearing through Horus Heresy books. To the point where all of the compilations I've been skipping because I'm like, I don't want to read a compilation. I'm now like, well, I guess I gotta buy and read the compilations
man,
now.
there's
a couple early ones. Yeah.
No, there are some really good ones.
And
Actually,
some of
right
them really
now.
advanced the storyline pretty well.
Oh no, I mean, what is it? One of the Karn the Betrayer short stories was amazing, and I actually listened to it on audiobook.
Is it the one where he meets Angron?
No,
Is
not.
that
Oh,
one
well, yes.
epic?
Oh, yes. I read that one. I loved that one, and it actually makes you realize that Angron's like a person and not just this rage
And
machine.
it makes you realize that the Emperor was like, you know what? This guy's nuts. I'm out of here. Good
Well,
luck, guys.
Yeah, and that scene in what is it, Master of the Webway, where he's talking to Arkan Land, and he's like, "Hey, you see this?" And Arkan Land's like, "Oh my God, yeah, I get that what that is." He's like, "Can you fix it?" He's like, "I don't know." And Emperor's like, "Yeah, I can't fix it either. Okay, bye."
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
But no, I've also been listening to recently the War of the Beast on audiobook.
Beast Arises.
Beast Arises. I keep freaking calling it that. That's the second time you've corrected me.
It's okay.
And
I'll continue to correct you.
used to
There's no
it.
problem with that.
No, I know I'm fine with being corrected, but just for a hotel room at your keeps say your comment.
Yeah, I saw that comment too.
That's amazing. No, it's really good. I really enjoy it, and it actually makes the Officio Assassinorum look so badass.
Yeah. There's also the one where they try to
Draken
assassinate
Baggerich,
Horus.
so
That's
good.
pretty good too.
Say that again, John?
There's also the one where they try to assassinate Horus. That's pretty good.
Oh,
too.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Oh,
That's, I think Nemesis.
Nemesis.
yeah, Nemesis. That is one of my favorites. Yeah.
One day
That
we'll
didn't
have
succeed because that bitch deserved to die. Am I right,
Spoilers.
Adam?
Well, when he comes back, you can.
Yeah, back. He's
When
not
Horus
coming
comes back,
That's not
He's coming back.
happening. I swear
He's
to
already
God,
been
if
back
Horus
once.
comes back, I'm rage quitting 40K.
Fabius Bile brought him back once. He can do it
No,
again.
he cloned him. That's not the same thing.
Still brought him back.
Nope.
He's still remembered.
If
Tomatoes, mono.
It's mono.
it's okay, John. Just wait until you quit at the same time. I get so pissed off at everything that I just quit, and then we'll start playing Malifaux together.
I'm not playing any Malifaux.
Or
Okay,
Saga.
Okay, so I might actually be interested in playing some Saga if I had the time, because
Saga's a good game.
Yeah,
they're
no,
just
no.
they're coming out with a new edition.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no,
Damn.
I would totally.
And
If I had the
I'm also
time.
not opposed to
would
playing
totally
that other game, Adam. The one,
Blood Red Skies.
yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I just don't have time to do that kind of stuff. It's the same thing with like Flames of War. I'm not opposed to playing Flames of War as long as it's World War II Flames of War because I'm interested in that kind of stuff.
Right.
Just don't have the time to play like a bajillion
Yeah,
games.
I still got to put together the scale USS Hornet.
Did you really order one?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
But
Because it would be cool. I would totally do that, but you know.
we can. I mean, I don't care. I gotta
We
find.
can play some-
I gotta check the scale there.
I'm
We can
waiting.
play some AOS.
I'm waiting for Iron Harvest to release a tabletop game.
You know,
that
I
would be
really like-
awesome.
I really like.
I haven't played the
AOS.
board game, but I love the design.
For which one, Tom?
The Iron Harvest.
Oh yeah. I really like Age of Sigmar, Danny. But if I'm gonna play another game, I don't want it to be another GW game that's like exactly like 40K.
Not like the newly announced Rogue Trader.
No, like it looks cool, but I'm not gonna play it.
That's just Kill Team, I think.
Blood Bowl would be fine. I would play Blood Bowl.
New
Blood Bowl's
models.
fun. That's a GW game I would play. But if I'm gonna play something else, I probably would want to play something historical. Just because that's like, you know, I like history, obviously.
Saga.
Yeah.
Saga, yeah.
Saga's a good one.
Saga would be Saga. I would be play. Yes.
Blood and
On a-
Plunder is another interesting one.
That's a good one too. It's,
RPG.
John
I
doesn't
don't
like pirates.
sailboats.
You don't like when somebody takes your booty?
I don't like ships.
I
with
was
sails.
waiting for that one.
Which is ironic because I have to teach a large section of history where everything is basically sailing ships. Like I
On
don't
sailing
ever get
ships.
to talk about anything but sailing ships until I talk about the Civil War and I get to talk about ironclads or the
See, you don't wanna-
Industrial
you don't
Revolution and talk
wanna-
about steamboats.
You don't want to play wooden
Honor
ships in
and
Iron
steel.
Man?
No, I don't want to play with any wooden ships. Stupid
no
boats
fun.
with their sails and they're going all slow. They're lining up in the ocean shooting at each other.
Yeah,
You have to
it's
remember-
Free Gothic.
You have to remember, Adam, he has not yet begun to salt.
I'm not.
God. You're on a roll today, Tom.
Rogue Trader looks like a free-moving version of Shadespire. Yeah, I guess so, Tony.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it pans out. I don't. I guess that's their version of Kill Team. That's the new Kill Team, I guess.
Rogue Trader is?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I didn't get
Some
that
of those
because
models looked really cool. I'm not gonna lie.
they did.
It's more Nurgle stuff.
Well, the thing I didn't
There's
get
other
the Kill
stuff,
Team vibe though. It felt more like Necromunda, if anything, because
No.
because Kill Team yeah, because of the doors. Because the Kill Team specifically came with three like screw you guys.
I don't know, we're laughing at John George's comment.
Oh. What did he
Gun
say?
lines in the ocean.
Oh, I remember that. Oh my god.
Yes, actually, that's one of the reasons why John George
God.
don't like the Age of Sail. It's gun lines in the ocean.
It is.
Gun lines can't be planes, okay?
I think Rogue Trader. I think Rogue Trader is no Rogue Trader because it said skirmish in the 40K universe or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's
yeah. But Kill Team had like that whole like you use the actual GW terrain. You still moved like this is maybe I would actually compare it more to Betrayal at Calth. Just from the pure visual.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gonna
or
it would be like Necromunda in terms of it starts out like a board game and then you can play without miniatures.
Sure.
I mean, without a board game.
Or if it stays a board game, I'd actually also compare it to Space Hulk. Because of the doors, because I feel like the doors are important. And Space Hulk is
purely based on aesthetics. It's now
just based on the doors.
I told you in the very beginning of this podcast, I said I'm a visual person, so that's it.
That's why you play Tau.
Yeah.
Still,
wait, what? I don't get it.
Okay.
It's aesthetically pleasing, isn't it?
Supposedly. I mean, let's put it this way: when you see it,
of 40K over the Grimdark.
I don't know. Primaris models look sexier.
Yeah, that's true. I like playing Adam's brother John just so I can play against Primaris models.
I almost spit out my drink. That was
Pretty
good.
soon I'm gonna have to play against all kinds of Primaris Deathwatch.
Hell yeah!
But they're probably all gonna be painted like blue and green and red and purple and nonsense.
Not that hard to paint black, trust me.
It's not, but people aren't gonna do it. There are already people posting pictures of their like green salamander armies, going like, "Hey, look, my Deathwatch."
And it's an ultramarine in blue.
It has green salamanders.
Yeah, we're going back to the Ultra Scars time. It appears.
Yeah.
So moving on.
Yes.
As much as I like to talk other games, especially historical. I don't know how to say this. We had a tournament, a grand tournament that decided to wait until the morning of to make announcements that made changes to the way the game was played.
Correct.
More importantly, it made changes to how the terrain was played.
Correct.
And it caused a bit of a stir.
Go on.
And I understand why they did it. What they said was they counted all terrain.
I understand why they did it because they don't want to invest in terrain. Understood.
They made all terrain except I think like rubble, some of the small things, infinitely high, which was to encourage line of sight block. Because this particular
just copied out of the 4th edition rulebook.
Yeah, I was going to say just a time warp to 2005.
Which, to be honest, in my opinion, is when this tournament was actually last week.
Oh boy!
Shots fired.
I didn't name the tournament, although saying shots fired is appropriate considering.
And also, it fits with our previous conversation about gun lines and boats.
Yes.
Well, speaking of gun lines, Gulliman has also joined Mr. Inquisitor's Primaris Deathwatch.
Oh, God.
It's his Watchmaster. I'm betting right now.
But the reason I mention it is as Danny, John, and myself, other than judging LVO, as you know, John runs the tournament or the league. I help run the events. Danny helps run the events at our local store, and it's something that came up, and there was a bit of a discussion about it, and whether, in my opinion, and we've talked about it, if anyone's going to run tournaments, if you are going to make any changes, be sure to announce them before the tournament start, before the morning of the tournament, before the weekend of the
Any
tournament.
major format changes like that or mission changes need to be at minimum 2 weeks out, in my opinion, or a week. Like you can't do that even like the day before. Hey, all you people traveling to this event, by the way, some of your lists are now stupid.
Well, they made the format, the army format change well in advance when they said no,
Which was totally
Imperial or
fine.
chaos soup. So I don't know why they waited till that morning. I don't know if they decided that, well, maybe we should do this after looking at the terrain, because this particular tournament does not have. They have tables that have a line of sight terrain. They have tables that are literally may as well be Planet Bowling Ball because they don't have any line of sight terrain.
Right.
And I guess to make it,
Adepticon 2.0.
yeah, I guess. I mean, but no, go ahead.
I was going to say, my gut feeling on this was that when they were setting up and people were looking at the tables, someone or enough people, or at least one or two people who are highly influential, probably saw the table. This is fucking stupid, bro.
I think it was the people who were there the night before
wins
playing.
to shooting armies. And the organizers and the TOs just caved, right? They just made a knee-jerk reaction of like, oh my god, we were criticized, what do we do?
Well, yeah, and there were probably all the people playing the night before, you know.
Right.
Are we seriously playing on this trash? Oh god, what do we do? Oh, let's get out our 4th edition rulebook and look for a solution in there.
The key is to have like that person you can just blame it all on. And now you all know why I'm here.
This is true. This is true.
The other thing, and that's why, and someone else is posting in the chat that if it's a major GT, it should be like a month.
Oh yeah. I mean, if it's any event where you anticipate and encourage people to travel to your event, you have to make everything up front as clear as you can, because
it's just a bunch of locals derping around. Change all the things day of you want. It's locals. Nobody cares.
Yeah, if it's an RTT, it's not that big of an issue. That's why our local, we allow, if it, like, for instance, the Deathwatch Codex comes out this coming Saturday.
Yeah, so you
and
use it.
that's when our local RTT is also this Saturday. But we're allowing the Deathwatch Codex to be used.
Which means that Saturday I'm not going to hit a single market because everyone's just going to stratagem me.
No, because remember, you can only use that stratagem once per. You can only use it once.
Right.
You have to use it immediately after. So if he doesn't use it, and then you use the stratagem that lets you roll the D3 extra marker lights, if you don't shoot at that unit again, he can't get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, he has to, and that's the thing, and it works actually perfectly, and this is something that Tau players forget about marker lights, is you're supposed to roll them one at a time. The reason being is because marker lights affect themselves, which was a huge deal, like to me at least, when it came out. So I specifically rolled them one at a time. Adam, you saw me doing that constantly, except you saw me going from... Attention. Well, no, but you saw my face going from, oh,
oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, Malifaux.
Yeah, and I remember being like, why are you rolling these one at a time? You're already killing me. Can you just move the game along so we can leave?
Yeah, because they're resolved one at a time, and you have to use that strategy after they get shot at. They get hit, basically.
Right.
Yeah, so it's for the conscientious Deathwatch player will know when to remove the marker lights.
Right.
Basically, if they're rolling them one at a time and they hit 5.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they only, it's going to come down to that. It's going to come down to, it's going to be a timing issue. Like, do I do it now? Do I do it? Wait and see if he shoots at him again. But if I do that, especially with the one, like you said, the strategy the Tau have that allows for an additional D.
Because then it's like, oh, I hit 3 marker lights. I'm probably going to hit that one.
Yeah.
You know. Also, funny, Tony, you say that because
What did Tony say? Because nobody else will know.
He was talking about how the one at a time marker light thing made people pissed, but for me, I never heard that because there's not a lot of Tau players in my meta, so it's not like people would have seen that as much.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of Tau player. It's basically Tom.
Yeah, it really is just me, and then
maybe the wayward Tau player who wanders into the store for a tournament.
Yeah. Well, what is it? There is that one guy who comes in every now and then. He comes up with a really interesting list idea, Josh, and he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Yes, Josh.
I think this is his name, Josh. Yeah, I don't remember it. but he's such a delight to play against, and but still good. He's like beaten me once or twice slash like come close to beating me in other ones where it was close. Like he's a good player too, but he's just like the most jovial person ever.
The other thing that I guess occurred at the tournament was one of the players that we know
The
and we
same
talked
one
with.
with the infinite high terrain.
Yeah, it's the same one.
The infinite what? Oh, the high terrain.
Infinitely high terrain, terrain. So basically, in terms of that, just be sure if you are going to run a tournament, whether it's local, well, especially if it's a large tournament, a GT, or it doesn't have to be a GT, but let's say you have a 30+ player RTT. Try to get out the info, any changes as early as possible. I mean, another example is the BAO when they had the first FAQ and they allowed it, 5 days before the event.
Yeah,
That-
I don't know. Whatever. FAQs are different. I view
Yeah.
FAQs as like this is a change being made to the game
Mhm.
by the actual people who made it. So you were to play the game that way.
Okay.
I don't.
I think most do that. Like I think they did. I think that tournament did the week before. So the FAQ came out the Monday after their deadline, and so they included it, which is fine because they did say, hey, if it doesn't come out before this date, we won't include it.
Right.
But in the other, so just be sure if you are going to run events to get all the information out as soon as possible. Don't wait until 2 days before the event to make any announcement that in regards to the event. Just to give people plenty of time to adjust or even decide if they, as opposed to making a long drive, especially where we play in our area,
Mm-hmm.
where you're driving sometimes an hour or two there and back, and then all of a sudden they make this change and your army is more or less useless.
That's true.
It can lead, and what ends up happening is they start bad mouthing or the store, and it affects how many people go to that store, go to that event.
Mm-hmm.
Like I talked to a couple
get
people
on a
that went
podcast
there.
and talk about how they made stupid decisions the morning of.
I never said who it was. And I've talked. And there's a couple
I
players.
didn't name names. I don't
There's a
understand.
couple people that we talked to that they said they're not going back because of.
Well, I
the
won't
other-
go to that one period, so it doesn't matter.
Well, we
And
have.
I feel
history.
vindicated. So
You always
is-
find a way to feel vindicated.
you know what?
True.
I'm not going to say anything to deny that.
This is one of those moments where John Salt becomes brine. He just reached its final self-gratified moment of justice.
How did you know how I take my baths in the morning?
You know what? Maybe it's because I do him too.
The other issue that seemed to have come up is not so much a tournament wide issue, but just something a story that someone related to us in regards to their judge staff. That
Oh yeah, I heard this.
they asked a question regarding whatever rule or whatever, and the person they asked didn't seem to know the answer. And I don't remember, John, the answer. They decided to ask somebody else.
Yes.
And
The head judge
person
basically went and found somebody else to answer the question.
that wasn't a judge or was a judge.
I don't know. It was vague.
And even though they may have been incorrect in ruling, which to me it doesn't matter. I think the way they handled it probably could have been a little bit better. If you don't know the answer, I usually don't say I don't know, and that's actually something they train us at work to do. Don't say I don't know, because then they don't think you know anything.
Right. Exactly.
You can ask. You just say, "Hey, I just need to get a second opinion," or just say, "I think it's like." Let me get a second opinion from another judge. That way, you can both confer about it, and it's not just something that.
Yeah, I like to phrase it as: do you want the answer? Do you want the right now answer, or do you want the right answer? Like, I'm willing to just give you a right now answer so you can continue your game, or I'm willing to go confer and make sure that it is the absolute correct answer.
Right. Yeah, and that's usually what I do. Danny, how do you usually handle something?
No, yeah, I never say I know. It's, do you want my snap decision now, or would you like me to confer with confer with whoever, or do further research the topic to give you a more detailed answer?
Right.
Yeah, because
Right.
in the current in the era it looks like we're moving into where really is becoming more of an issue,
Mm-hmm.
especially as we move towards chess clocks. Um, it is a relevant question to ask someone on a snap decision or researched decision.
Yes.
And if you're the player, it's up to you whether you run that risk of a snap decision may not they may be wrong after the fact. But if you're willing to take that risk just to get the game going, because remember that I believe the clock stops in the current ITC format. The clock stops when you call the judge over.
Right.
That,
There's something like that, but I don't think it's exactly
yeah.
But we
Well,
can't stop. Even if we do, we can't stop it.
right. I think the
Yeah.
clock can only be paused by the judge, is the way they phrase
Yeah.
that, right?
Okay.
I
Mhm.
I was gonna say I would throw more of a hissy fit about that, since I think that the clock should never stop unless the judge purposely allows
Stops
it.
right. And I think
Yeah.
that's the way it's phrased. I think it's phrased that if a judge comes over for a question, at the judge's discretion, they may stop the clock. Or something like that. I'd have to look it up. I don't remember exactly.
Thank you,
We don't
Mr.
memorize
Inquisitor.
stuff.
Yeah.
No. You know what? I actually stopped because that's why you have the books out. That's just for reference.
Right.
Mhm.
I
Tony's
read
got a good
everything,
point.
yeah.
Tony says that most people just want a third party to make a ruling. They generally don't care what the ruling is. They just
Right.
want to move on.
Right.
And that's why if for those that do read my article on Frontline, that one article was that the judge is always right at that time.
Yeah.
So as long as if you're the judge, even if you're not sure, if you make the decision and just make the decision because that's all they want to hear. They just want to hear. They just want a decision so they can keep on playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I have had instances where people will still argue with me and tell me I'm wrong.
Shocking.
And this happened at this past LVO, and my response was, and they were looking for the right answer. I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Come find me when you have the right answer, and I just walked. Turns out I was right. Not that I keep track or anything.
Sure.
But
sure.
I do get an apology every tournament, every LVO.
Really?
Oh yeah, I do too. I get
Yeah.
several.
Yeah, I always get those too. Because people get heated or whatever.
Regards a ruling or them saying a curse word either at me or in my general direction. Usually,
I get the apologies for. Usually, most people don't swear at me. They just get salty and get
Yes.
kind of chippy, right? And then it's like,
Mhm.
hey, sorry, I was kind of a jerk, right? And that's fine. Yeah. As the past LVO was the only time the entire time we've been judging, I've had anyone actually directly curse me out.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue that
It's a
we
very
will
different
address
issue,
in the future,
Mhm.
which we'll talk about off air.
Yeah.
Because that goes into what I talked about last when we talked about the judge deadlines.
Right.
So I'm still working on the draft for that. So we'll have that out soon.
Cool.
But just as for in my advice, just if you are gonna run a tournament or run a RTT or even help run a judge a GT, even if you think your answer is not wrong or right, just be confident with what you give as an answer.
Right. Yeah. Don't completely give away your authority of like, I don't know.
Right.
Let me just go ask some other person, because then it becomes, well, then why should I listen to you if you make a call?
Right.
Right. Like whether you're just part of being a judge is just accepting, like, you have to stand tall in front of the man and say, like, this is my decision, and be fine with that, right? Be confident in the decision.
Even if they allow your opponent to take back some moves, take back a charge move when they're assaulting, it's just something you have to kind of live with and not complain about, right, John?
Nope. Nope. Nope.
But But I mean, those were the two issues that I noticed from at least that tournament. Or I haven't seen anything from any other tournaments.
Yeah, there
London
haven't been too many
GT.
big like organizer level snafus.
No, London GT posted up all their lists, all 300.
Nice. I
Um,
like that. That's good.
currently being crowdsourced, I guess.
Yeah.
Whether that's good or bad, I don't know.
We'll see.
Mhm. Um,
Look,
Can I ask, as a non-judge to the judges, when you give a ruling, do you provide the reasoning behind it, or do you just say, "My will be done"?
It depends on the question.
Yeah, it depends on the question. Some are more cut and dry, and some
Yeah.
requires explanation as to why.
Right. This is how this works.
Yeah, because it lends more weight to your decision.
This is how this works. Why? Because it's you.
Yeah, a lot of the
We don't
times
do
it's like, why does this work? Because the rule says this.
That's like sometimes my response online. Well, why is it that way? The rules.
Yeah.
Just take a look. It's
And
in
a lot
the
of
book.
times,
Yes.
a lot of times it is like that because the way the rule is worded, or
Right.
Mhm.
they fail to want to read the rule,
Or they willfully misread it.
or or they only read the part that benefits them and not that part that they that actually
Finish
makes them.
reading to the bottom of the rule.
Yeah.
Don't just stop.
I actually do that a lot.
Tony has a Drukari rules question, and then we should move on to Necrons, I think.
Mhm.
Oh, we're out of time, so
Thank
He
you very
says,
much.
does this counter spell from Drukari go away in regards to access when a Yanari character is added to the detachment?
is it the counterspell or is it not the counter CP?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think he means the counter CP. Because stratagems seem like spells, cast them like instants in Magic.
Sure.
I think that's what he means.
Do you mean the CP? Tony? There's a delay, so he's going to answer in a second, I assume.
Well, let's lay the groundwork first. Isn't when you add a Drukari element to your Nari detachment, isn't one of the explicit rulings or wordings say this unit loses the Drukari keyword?
It's in the new rules for how to build a Yanari force.
Oh, because of the whole soup thing. That's right.
Yeah, oh my god, it's crazy.
It's in the FAQ.
I think that might be part of it.
Tony would have
just
to research that one further.
FYI, Danny is
The strat that has 3 CP to stop a strat, I guess. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's the Vect one.
Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. Because you need a Blackheart. You need a Blackheart detachment. I think it keeps its Drukari keyword if you add a Yanari to it.
Right.
I think they keep. Hold on, I have to look at the FAQ. You keep the you. I'm pretty sure you keep They become Yanari, but they keep the Drukari.
They keep the keyword, right?
They keep the keyword, and then but they lose the
Benefits.
abilities from that keyword.
So is a stratagem a benefit?
I think it still does.
Depends what your definition of is.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Bill.
I like the chuckle I got out of
Fucking totally worth it, right?
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Oh man, that's a good one.
So,
It's okay to get back to you with research and PM. Yeah, we'll probably.
do you want a quick answer, or do you want a research answer?
He said to get research. And
Hey-o.
We'll ask around. We can post it later into our.
From what I remember from the FAQ, without looking at it off right now, I think they still keep it because you keep the Drukari,
right?
And you still, but do you lose the Cabal? Do you lose? But I think you lose the chapter tactic.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you lose the chapter tactic, then you can't because you're no longer Cabal of the Blackheart.
And
Right.
yeah, that's
You're now
I have to
Yanari.
read it, and I'm currently holding a Necron Warrior's arms together.
Oh, John.
Well, that's my impression, right? Is that you'd have to have Yanari specific stratagems that apply to a Yanari detachment. It's not like, because think of it this way, right? If I have a guard army and a what is it, like the Space Marine army, right? I mean, sure, they can be attachments. I can use both of their respective stratagems together, but even if one of them is ambiguous enough to say infantry, I can't apply it to like TAC Marines if it comes from the Guard Codex. Or am I
Right.
thinking about it different, like incorrectly? I don't know. I mean, that's my impression, because you couldn't rock it that way.
Yeah. I don't know. I really would have to read it all up and read all the FAQ. and
It says they have to be the warlord, or your warlord is Yvrain the Vishark Arn. You can include any of these models in any Kratos, Harlequins, or Drukhari detachment, provided that the detachment does not include any of the following. Blah blah.
Mhm.
You include these models even if you are using the Battle Brothers match play rule.
Which doesn't exist. Well,
If they are included in a detachment, all Aldar units gain the Yanar. They just gain the keyword.
hmm. Yeah, it's a hard thing.
They're still considered to be Drukhari detachment. It's cool. So can use Craftware Harlequin Drukhari stratagems.
I think, Tony, at the end of the day, you're just supposed to be here and have fun. You're not supposed to make us actually work out the credibility of judging things that we say we do.
At the end of the
And
day,
I don't even
we're
think I
supposed
do.
to say we're going to play by the intent, and then everything goes fine, and nothing bad ever happens.
Just from this rough reading, I think you still keep it. It doesn't say anything about using your chapter tactics.
Yeah, it just says benefits, so I don't know.
All you lose are the
I'm just teasing. I'm kidding.
all you lose is the special rules,
Right.
like power from pain, things like that.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Which makes
I'm going to
sense.
say yes until it's used against me, then I'll say no.
Yeah.
That's how it
yes, the
works.
intent is that you need to have Vect for all that kind of stuff, I'm pretty sure. So
Or you need to have Cabal of the Black
Cabal
Heart.
the Black Heart, right.
Or as Tony responded very well, get vect.
Really?
Someone did a mock-up of a shirt for
That's pretty fun.
Look,
That's fantastic.
That's good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Clapfoot asked how large my units of Necron warriors are going to be, and I'm going to have enough to run 70 of them, and we're going to run a couple squads of 19 because we play ITC, and I don't want to give out the big secondaries for 20 mans, and then a couple of 10 mans. And I'm also going to run some Immortals, some Tesla Immortals. So I've
How
got
many?
plenty of troops for double battalions, basically, is what I'm doing.
9 Immortals.
I could
Yes,
do 9.
9
I
Immortals.
planned on 10, but
Why would you do 10? You're gonna give up. Give that thing.
yes, but because of that, it's only 3. So I'm never going to give up the whole 4, anyways.
No, you have 4 units. You have the large unit, the 2 small units, and then the.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, I'm already gonna have squads of 10 warriors too, because I'm running double battalions.
So you have what, 3 squads of 10, 2.
3 squads of 10, 2 squads of 19.
Oh, 2
one
squads
squad
of 19.
Yeah,
I ain't
2
giving
squads
it
of
up
19, and then
any-
1 squad of 10 Tesla Immortals. So
Yeah,
there's
let's
no point
go-
in not taking the 10 because I'm not going to deny.
Right, doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
Did you go first? Tony made my head hurt.
that's fine. Yes. Sure. Why not? Where's the "I'll allow it" meme? Why can't we post gifs in chat? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Twitch needs you to be able to post gifs in chat.
It's because Amazon bought Twitch and not Google. Because Google's keyboard has an amazing GIF search function.
Oh, okay.
It's so
Yeah.
good. I don't use the Facebook GIF search function whenever I send GIFs through Facebook.
What
I use
happens if you
Google.
both table each other, Tony? You did something wrong.
No, that was actually a question in our tournament TO chat. TO
Why?
because it actually happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and of course it was Don Huson.
How did Don both table and
What
get that?
unit basically overcharged and killed the last model in his arm.
Nice.
Basically, the way I see it, use to the tabling rule for ITC, which is you score each subsequent turn.
Yep.
If you're able to, and since nobody able to, nobody can score, so that you get nothing.
Nice.
That's why I posted that GIF
I like it.
of Willy Wonka saying
You
you
get
get
nothing,
nothing.
sir. I approve.
Nothing.
And then you're mocked.
Yes.
Incessantly.
Yes.
I would hope. Just warrior heads are dumb. The way they're attached to the sprue is dumb.
They're also the
That whole line
smallest
is,
data slate I've ever in my life.
They're what?
Like the tiniest data slate of my life.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were going to say tiniest ankles.
No, that's Tau.
Yes. Old
No, Necrons have small.
Well, actually, yeah,
small
ever since the
warriors anyway.
and Skatari too, I should remember.
Yeah, it's guitar deal. Yeah.
So John, you're going to BAO next.
Yes, that's my big one.
Tom, are you going anywhere?
I'm going
to the tournament this Saturday, right?
I'm playing in the tournament this Saturday. Probably, if I can, the June and July locals. I should be able to make those, and then each local this month or this year will be by ear. Hopefully, I'll make most of them. However, I am going to SoCal Open, which
Hammer Wrath
and Hammer.
If they have it.
I should be able to go to Hammer Wrath. It just depends. I'm out of town one of those weekends, so just if it lines up, great. If it doesn't, eh.
Oh yeah, Alan asked earlier in the chat when he was saying that he's not playing in the league after all because it's not because he's skipping it and boycotting because he's going to be in Europe. He was asking who's going to be the head TO for Hammer of Wrath.
Whoever you don't want to.
and my thing was, is there going to be a Hammer of Wrath? Because it hasn't been promoted in any way, shape, or form. So,
it's the
second weekend in August. I know. I won't be there because I'll be U70, but I'm saying
I'm talking about promotion. The issue is we have issues with the Snarl.
The owner.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I mean, that's not new.
So because of that, and we should probably talk about that. We should probably talk about that as a topic.
Right.
If you have this is essentially a hostile store owner to the not the community, but at least to
the game
growth of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, it's very difficult to promote.
Right.
Tournament. So it probably won't get promoted until probably July, and which is what keeps it as more of a low.
Right.
We're still able to get almost 50 plus players, but
yeah.
But as for the head TO, it's usually been me, depending on how many people show up,
right.
and if I need to play or not.
Sure, makes sense.
But 8th edition is not that difficult to.
It's not very difficult to TO. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, in general, it's pretty easy.
But just as a note, I know I didn't mention, but for my army, I am playing Chaos, going back to Chaos for Boise and the League.
Chaos.
The current idea.
Oh wait, Tony said something about the Bug Eater GT. Where's that one?
The Bug Eater is the Bug Eater. I think is the same weekend as Boise, or it's no
June 23rd.
No, there's like two tournaments that same weekend. Because Final Flying Monkeys is that weekend.
Okay.
I may go to next year.
Where's that
one? Instead of Boise, don't tell Aaron. But what is Bug Eater? Bug Eater is fairly recent. But and that's in Nebraska, I believe.
Oh, Nebraska. Okay, I'm not going to Nebraska.
Why not?
I'm not flying that far for a tournament.
Oh, that's actually June 1st and 3rd.
Oh yeah, and I can't go to that anyways.
I can't go because I'm going to Boise that would be difficult.
That same month, yeah.
But that's an option.
Just take your wife with you to one. Is that how that goes?
She don't want to go to Nebraska.
Nebraska. Take her to Boise.
but then I'd have to be with my wife.
Oh, ba 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 ba.
It's Omaha, Nebraska, and the
Okay.
Bug Eater GT's actually been around.
Yeah, no, I know it's around. I didn't think it was new. It's just that. Yes, Tony, the guys from our team that are going to Boise are driving
Oh yeah,
for reasons passing understanding and common sense.
it's more fun that way.
Yeah, you say that.
It's me and Danny. If I was going by myself,
Danny Kwan, not Danny
Danny
Rose.
Quan.
Tony Kwan.
Yeah, and kidnapping Danny to get him away from.
I mean, yeah. By kidnapping, you said 40K, and he got his car.
Yeah.
He was like, "Do you need me to drive?"
Yeah.
Too bad he doesn't actually listen to these things live.
Yes.
He is very good about maintaining his schedule. He just makes sure that all of his free time is
40K.
living, breathing, eating 40K. Yeah,
Right.
which that's totally worth
He
it.
almost got number one Blood Angels that one year.
He was so close.
And he just couldn't go to Barry or late LVO.
Yeah, he couldn't go to LVO. That was the year after my first LVO.
Tony wants to know if you're going to drive through Sacramento.
Does
I'm
he need a
assuming
ride?
he's asking if you'll pick up a hitchhiker named Tony.
Hitchhiker? People pick hitchhikers all the time. Talk to us off air, and I'll see what.
It's the
I'll
weekend
talk
of
to
June
Danny.
23rd, Tony.
Yeah, there's only like 7 tickets left at the time of this recording.
I wonder if Boise Cup would have the same attrition rate at like Barry Openwood or something, where like you could just show up and basically be guaranteed a spot.
No, I don't think so. They didn't have any drops last year. Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of a local GT, right? It's like their big GT.
Yeah. This is what I mean when I turn whole system. Yeah, it's another local GT.
Okay.
But I can talk to Danny maybe. I mean, it's a long drive no matter where, to be honest.
No matter
And one of the
what
routes
you
does take us past Reno, so
Right,
probably have
which
that.
is by Sacramento.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Close enough.
Yeah, why not?
Slight detour out of a 15-hour drive. I don't think is going to matter too much.
Yeah, even if it's a whole hour, at that point, who cares?
It's like, what's another hour? But for right now, the Chaos Army I'm thinking of is more either it'll be finished win or lose by about turn 2 probably,
Okay.
because it's Abaddon, some cultists, Sakaran, and a Scorpius.
Right.
And then it's demons with Nurglings because I need Nurglings. And then the heavy hitter part is an Alpha Legion detachment patrol with a Demon Prince, no wings, 30 cultists, 15 berserkers, and 15 possessed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And all that goes up front with it forward operatives, whether I go first or second, and just runs forward and tries to kill
Yeah,
shit.
you're not lying about the win big, lose big, huh?
Yeah. I have, with Abaddon, I have 5, 10, I have 15 command points.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's a
And
lot
to
of
put all
commitment.
the forward operatives, it's going to cost me 4 command points. And
Do you
the
have
reason I
any-
don't.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I was just gonna say, do you have any bonus relics that you can take advantage of? Like,
For what?
Right.
Like what?
well, I don't know I don't know the Chaos Codex, so it's like I don't know if there's a relic where it's like, oh, I'd spend the extra CP to get the extra relic, but I'm tight on like now because that's one of the reasons I can bring 2 relics from my list, for example.
No, I have something like that. Let me bring more. So I can give the Demon Prince a relic if I want to.
Right. So now, I mean, I'm just saying, is that something you're excited about that you have fucking 15
Possibly. I
CPs?
mean, I have a bunch of CPs. There's a bunch, and all the CPs are going to be spent on that. Hopefully, there's no Calidus assassins in the opposing army. Otherwise,
Well,
I'm screwed.
Well, I mean, but most of that shit's done pre-game, though, right?
Well, the
forward operatives.
forward operatives is, so I don't have to worry about that. But and the relic is too. So that's more or less 5 to 7 CP spent before the game starts.
Mr. Inquisitor, I like the sound of your GT. You should totally run that.
What is his
He says
suggestion?
he wants a GT with a rule of if you lose a squad, you chug a beer. And if you want a CP back, you chug a beer.
Ooh.
I'm totally down with this this idea.
Thank God.
I'm gonna start buying pibbers to prep for said tournament.
Yeah. Yes.
So
Agreed.
that's the list. I'm probably gonna bring to Boise more or less. The
Is
uh,
it is it
uh-huh.
kind of related to the list that there was a one time off air you and I were talking about chaos list? Is this related to that somewhat or no? Okay, did I have any influence on you, Adam?
I will never admit to you having any influence on ability.
Completely fair point.
Nice. There you go, guys.
No, I just was curious because we were we were talking about
We
it.
were talking about it. Somewhat. I was because I was just trying to think. I was trying to think of lists with the new FAQ rules. And although I like obliterators, the 24-inch range is very limited. If I can't deep strike in anywhere except my own deployment zone. So unless we're playing that spearhead one with where we're only like 18 inches away from each other, if I wanted to drop them in first turn, it'd be very limiting. The reason the Demon Prince doesn't have wings is because he just goes up forward operatives. I give him warp time, and he just goes forwards and wreaks havoc. Can't really get targeted because of all the bodies. Because you're gonna have 30, you're gonna have 60 other bodies within 9 inches of your army. Starts. Well, actually, almost. You're actually going to have 70 if I count the Demon Prince and the Nurglings.
Yeah, because you're counting the power level element too. Like if you just bring enough, it doesn't even matter. Or am I not thinking about it?
Power level? No, that's not deep strike though.
Oh,
So I don't care.
Clever girl. Saw this great meme where it's like, wait, can a Velociraptor sneak up on me? And the Velociraptor shows up and says, "You bet Jurassic can."
Nice.
I think we're done.
No, we haven't even talked about the Necron Codex yet.
Yeah. Well, okay, Tom, why don't you tell us what you think of the Necron Codex? Because you just started looking through it today for this. And Adam and I talked about it before and stuff. So what were your first impressions of the Necron Codex?
Okay, and actually, I'm glad you put it that way because, like, you know, a lot of people tend to look at these codexes thinking like, okay, what do I want to do? And I will say this, scrolling through the okay, there we go. It has a lot of characters that are a single first impressions. A single dynasty, which is something that Tau suffer from too. Most of our characters are from Tau Sept. That said, a lot of their stuff and their abilities are like at first glance pretty dope. And bear in mind, I'm only looking at power level and not necessarily points, mostly because I can't be bothered to scroll that quickly. So there's that. I think there's a lot of potential for this list. I think the fact that everything pretty much has either living metal or reanimation protocols is insane, especially considering the fact that reanimation protocols lasts until the unit's either wiped out or in full. That's huge. The Catacomb Command Barge, immediate, just absolute take. Like, why would you not take that? That's incredibly good, especially because you know, it has a different command. I mean, I don't know if the wordings. It has wave of command versus my will be done. So
which is
even though you can't choose, yeah, exactly. So even though you can't choose the same unit per the ruling, you can choose two different units and do that. Because I don't know if my will be done is limited to once a turn like Tau stuff is. And the reason I'm comparing it to Tau actually is because I've noticed, even though their playstyles are very different, there's a lot of structural similarities in some regards. Although with Necrons, they tend to get the Space Marine side of things versus the guard side of things. So there's that.
Yeah, the My Will Be Done thing is once a turn.
Yeah,
but then you've got that has it, but you can only choose the target once also.
Yeah.
Right.
And just I mean, just the weapons it has. It's just, oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah, and if you make it Mephrit and you let it target characters, it's pretty good too.
Oh dear god. I mean, and that's another. I mean, I still love death marks. I think that if you're a Necron player, you should just have a unit of death marks in your back pocket, because either you're deep striking them for an objective, or you know what? Screw Lias Isidon. I'm gonna go kill him right. Like honest to God, like I mean, or even that demon that, for example, that this would, well, actually, no, that's pre-deployment, so that wouldn't work. But I mean, any deep striking character or any mid-game deployment character, if you're using like Gate or Dawa or something like that, or to jump, I think Necron Warriors are an incredibly, I think they're the best troop choice in the game.
Right.
I absolutely, I can't think of a better one. I mean, we'll say, maybe. Think of it this way, like
it's only because they the zone out, especially now.
Sure, yeah, that's incredible. But I mean, in terms of an ability that spans any kind of player skill, I think Necron Warrior still take it, because you have to know what you're doing to use Nurglings. You have to also, I mean, Nurglings don't have. Do they have a limitation on how close you can get to an enemy, or is it just the zone?
It's 9 inches.
So if somebody else deploys before you, then you get mitigated, versus Necron Warriors, which are an advancing wave of death, which is kind of what they were intended to be, that regenerate as they walk towards you and deal a decent amount of shit. I mean, like, they have a 24 rapid fire 1, AP minus 1. They basically have better bolters, which is insane.
Yeah, they do. They have
Like,
better boulders for sure.
It's really good. I think Lich Guarder's still good. Flayed ones, you could make a point. But I'm not going to talk about that. We already did.
Tony
I think
already
that-
offered to sell me his Slade one, so
I know, I saw that.
I would say the Shard of the Deceiver is fantastic if you're going that route.
mm-hmm.
And then I would say the Shard of the Nightbringer is only crap if it's above 250.
It's crap.
It's crap.
Then it's probably above 250.
I don't even know if it's above 250.
No, I don't
That's
even
just
know.
not
All
good.
I know it's crap.
Well, I mean, it's
every time.
weapon skill 2, ballistic skill 2, strength T7, 8 wounds, so and it's a character, so you can't target it. Leadership 10, 4-up save. It has a 4-up invul save. It's got a it always wounds on a 2 unless it's vehicle, and it's got a -4 D3 damage gaze of death and a -4 D6 damage melee attack. That's, I mean, like, why isn't that good? Just because it's not mobile enough? Like, I'm like, because like the thing is, I'm like you guys were saying, like, at one
The
point,
gaze, I think, is only, what, 8 inches, 9 inches?
12.
12. How many attacks? 5? You only have
It's assault D6, and he has 4 attacks. So that's potentially 24 damage if you hit everything to
But it's
power.
only 4 attacks.
4 attacks at D6 damage each.
That's the problem. It's not like 8 attacks at straight 4 damage each, like a certain someone.
Yeah, I mean he's 210 points, but
Are y'all talking about Tigurius? No,
No.
no, I'm kidding.
I don't know if you are or not.
No, because I okay. Well, I will say this. I think you're talking about Magnus.
I'm not talking about Magnus.
God damn it!
nice.
Oh my god.
I will totally agree with you on Lich Guard, and I'll totally agree with you on the Death Marks. Like, having one squad of them was probably not a bad idea.
You mean the what's
Death
it?
Marks.
Oh, Death Marks. Yeah, I think they're a great elite's back pocket choice.
Yes.
Like, just why not? Especially because, actually, I will look up the points for them. They are.
They're
It's
not
like a
that
95
expensive.
for. I think it's like 95 for 10 or something like that, or for
Yeah.
5,
If they're 95 for 5,
something like that.
That's
It's sub
not-
100. I think.
that's I don't know.
The problem is it's only 5, so you only get the mortal wounds like all snipers.
Right, exactly. The only thing I can think of is the very interesting way that the deep strike rules are worded for Necrons, because as opposed to most other armies where it's like, oh, I can deep strike in whenever I decide to within turns 1 through 3. Necrons are have to have a certain unit alive in order to do it. So one example is the Monolith. Another example is the what is it? The Flyers, the Night Scythe, and the Doom Scythe.
Yeah.
And the Night Scythe and the Doom Scythe actually have like really awesome stratagems that allow you to, I think one of them is, your last thing that let you bring stuff in died, but you still have a guy in the faraway tomb world. You can still bring him in.
Yeah.
So it's actually that's actually really incredibly powerful, because you can use that to bait a free deep strike.
Yeah, and I wanted to run a bunch of Night Scythes originally, but they're a little too expensive to do that. A little too much of a liability. And everybody really likes Doomsday arcs, which is fine.
Yes.
I'm not big on the Doomsday arc just because, I don't
Because
know.
you don't like winning.
No, I just want to do things my own way. Thank you very much.
Special snowflake.
Sure, why not? I'm close enough to being millennial that I can be a snowflake, correct? That's allowed.
I don't know.
I feel like it's allowed.
I stopped counting.
Sure.
So what else is in your list, John? Do you have the Deceiver? That's why most people will take the Deceiver over the Nightbringer.
Yeah, I have the Deceiver. So I've got Deceiver and so it's 2 battalions at this point, and I don't know, it might get changed, who knows. But basically it's 2 battalions right now. The first battalion has Overlord with a Orb and a War Scythe and a Cryptek with the Chronometron to give out the 5+ invul save. And then I've got the 2 big blocks of Warriors and the 10 Tesla Immortals. Then I have another battalion. That battalion has the Catacomb Command Barge. That's obviously Mefrit, obviously given the Voltaic Staff, and he's obviously the Warlord, so he can target characters. That one also has a Cryptek with a Chronometron. Then there's the Deceiver. Then there's 8 Lich Guard with shields and swords. And then there's 3 10-man warrior units.
Okay.
So the idea is basically just... Oh, and the Overlord has Veil of Darkness, obviously, because I need to get more than just the D3 units of the Deceiver forward somehow.
Okay.
As a new player to a codex or someone like thinking about, why would you not go for scrolling up? Okay, why would you not go for Vargard Oberyn or Byron and Nemersor Zandrek?
It's the
Because it's
cost
like a combined.
The cost combined is too
cost.
expensive.
Yeah.
Can you give me a guesstimate in terms of the actual match play points?
You mean the... Yeah, the...
I want to say about 300, close to 300.
But
Just for the 2 of them.
The 2 of them, but then the unit you're going to use with them too is... it's going to have to be something that doesn't just give up those 2 characters right away. So a lot of people who are like, well, okay, so you have to take them and deep strike them in with a really expensive Lich Guard unit.
Yeah, I was going to say Lich Guard.
And you also you have to deliver, what's his name first?
You have to deliver Zandrek.
Zandrek. So you have to have a delivery system for Zandrek.
Which means you have to have a
you'd have to
Deceiver.
get another... Yeah, you either need the Deceiver, which is expensive.
Maybe.
You can
get
Overlord
Relic.
with the Veil of Darkness.
Yeah.
So you give him Veil, he Veils in. Can he bring any...
He brings Zandrek with him.
Because he's in infantry.
Right, and then Vargard Oberon.
Overlord. Okay.
Yeah, and then Oberon comes up. But at this point, you're now talking about something that's going to be 700-ish points.
Yeah.
To make it work. To get Zandrek into position via another model, whether it's a Night Scythe
Cryptek.
or
Use a Cryptek at the cheapest, I guess, if you want to bring Oberon, Zandrek over.
Cheapest ones are Cryptek. But you're still looking at something that's going to be something around 700 points to actually work. And, do work and be good. That's why I think a lot of people are shying away from it. Because I originally was like, oh, yeah, I'm totally going to do this too. And then I'm like, man, I can't afford any of the other stuff to make the list work. And, not suck. So let's see. Where's Zandrek's 180, Oberon's 140, right? So that's 320.
320.
That's 320. Plus, then you're going to need something to deliver him, right? So let's
Blade
say
ones.
What?
No, they Kevin, god damn it.
So let's say you go Cryptek for 70 points, right?
Right.
You're now at 390. Okay.
You have to either give up a relic or give up a CP to give the extra relic.
Right. So either way, you've got to get the relic. Then, and really, you don't want the Cryptek because does Zandrek have the orb?
Zandrek, let me see.
If he doesn't have a res orb, then why would you use the Cryptek?
No. What he does is he shuts off opposing characters' auras if they're within, I think, 6 or 12 inches.
Which is great, except
It's
when you
it's
move,
12. It's 12.
Which is great, except you need the orb for any of those units moving up to not die.
The Resorb, yeah.
You're gonna need Resorb. So then you're gonna be
So you're
paying
gonna
for
need an Overlord
which
or
is
a Cryptek.
84. 84 plus you're gonna take the Scythe. You got to pay for the Orb, right? So now you're over 400 points. Then you've also got the unit of whatever you're bringing. If it's Lich Guard, it's 300 points. If it's Wraiths, it's also high. Like, oh no, you can't bring Wraiths. Can you bring Wraiths with Oberon?
No, because
Wraiths?
they're not infantry.
They're not infantry, right?
They're not infantry, and I don't think
Right.
they actually get a faction keyword.
Right. And I think what you want to bring up is something that can assault.
hmm
But so you're bringing Lich Guard.
I mean, I
can
know
bring
you
Flint
want.
ones.
You could pick Flayed Ones, and I know you want to ignore this. I know
But Flayed ones already have the
we
ability
all
to
went to
pop up.
Applebee's, and we all just were down in the parking lot, and the Scientologists came out, and they all asked.
But with the Oberon, when you transport them, the unit that transports with him can be with. They just need to be with outside of 1 inch of an enemy unit.
Right.
They're almost guaranteed to charge.
That's what was in my mind was like, oh my god, you guys, holy shit! Plus, especially because if given the FAQ and how it's worded against deep strikers, since if you start them on the board, this is an on the board ability.
Yes.
So
Right.
that's like, oh, turn 1, I'm in your damn face.
Yeah.
And
So
I went first.
It has to be a Sautek infantry unit.
And
Wraith-
John told me if I went first, I win. So
Yeah. And Wraiths do have they do get the keyword for the
okay,
for the
Yeah,
dynasty, but I
yeah, the
don't
dynasty
believe
keyword.
they're not infantry, they're beasts, so you can't take them with you.
No. John Copfoot is asking if Ghost Arcs are any good.
I don't know. I'm one of those people who also needs to see stuff work sometimes. And
Mhm.
I think that I need to see the Ghost Arc work. I don't think the Ghost Arc is worth it, no.
There's one of the barges. I forget who was telling me this game night, but one of the barges.
It's the Annihilation Barge.
That's it. Is just so bad.
It is mathematically the worst unit in the Codex, no matter which loadout you give it.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
there's a
you-
guy in one of the Necron groups who did his giant spreadsheet with all this math, and it's got big math, and it's like, and he's like point for point, no matter what loadout you give it, and no matter the other loadouts you give other things in the Codex, the Annihilation Barge, no matter what, is the worst unit in the Codex.
Yeah. So
Like,
you
well,
heard it.
Okay then.
You
let's
heard
see.
it here by proxy here, folks.
Ghost Arc Repair Barge rule: you can make reanimation protocol rules for any slain models from enemy units embarked on a Ghost Arc, even though those units are not on the battlefield. Any models return to the unit that is way. Okay. It's good. Hovering, quantum shielding. Reanimation protocol rules for slain models with the Dynasty Warriors units within 3 inches of any friendly Ghost Arcs you can not use.
Yeah, see, the list I was thinking of had warrior, like 3 units of warriors at a base. I don't know the number yet because I haven't figured out
Yeah.
the points. But 6 destroyers, 2 Doomsday Arcs, and I think Satan. I can't remember. It was either 2 or 3 Doomsday Arcs and a Destroyer Lord, and it just moved all, and that moves all up, and it's a battalion of Mephrit for -1 AP, and
Yes.
a soft tech for the Doomsday and Destroyers because they ignore the heavy penalty
Yeah.
when they move.
Right. Tony's saying he thinks that the Immortals are the weak link in my army, and I think that that's probably true, but there's only one squad of 10 in their Tesla, and I'm looking for that bonus and running them as Mephrit. And I agree Destroyers are good, and probably are auto-included in most Necron lists, but again, the problem is I don't have any. And I am leery of the Games Workshop letting me order them.
Great word, by the way.
Thanks. Because they're still listed as not in stock, and Frontline Gaming was telling me they can't get them, and so I'm not.
What's
I don't
their
trust the
eBay presence like?
Difficult to find ones that aren't built or haven't been like primed or begun to be painted, and the price on them is a little high because
Okay.
of the fact that they're rare.
Okay.
So we'll see. If I'm gonna run the lists and see, and if I just can't do it because I need more mobility or whatever, then destroyers will probably be the answer. I can always do 2 squads of 5 destroyers and then a squad of either wraiths or a squad of what are the things? The Tomb Blades.
Tomb
Something
Blades,
like
I think.
that. So
I think Tomb Blades are like the Deathmark equivalent, in my opinion. I think that you absolutely should have one. They're involved, like they, between the different options they can take in their movement speed and the damage output. And if I'm not mistaken, they're actually decently cheap too.
they're not that expensive, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think that every army, even though we're not playing Maelstrom anymore, where you have to randomly switch what objective you're guarding, having a mobile backfield element is huge.
Yeah. And I kind of like the Shadow Loom for the 5+ save.
Oh, yeah.
Or even if you give them the Nebula Scope and then models don't receive the bonus to their save for being in cover, that's a pretty good one too. I don't know. There are definitely ways to run the Tomb Blades that seem decent to me. Like, so if I did take a unit of them in like a what's the fast attack detachment? That's the
Outrider.
So if I take an Outrider detachment, and because the Tomb Blades are kind of cheap, I could take 2 units of 5 destroyers and then a small unit of Tomb Blades and kind of like whatever. Point wise, I'm not missing out on too much. Plus, then I don't have to wait around for things to get back in stock or whatever. So we'll see.
Can I end on, or not end, depending on what we do?
I think it's probably end on, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Given the
Thanks,
intricacy. No, I'm just saying. Given the intricacies of this codex and the myriad ways, and we were talking with Danny earlier with the Tyranid codex. Do you think that GW actually has their own idea of what an OP build or several OP builds lists are, and they're just not telling us? They're just making it extremely hard to figure out.
No,
because that's something I've always kind of wondered. I mean, well, way to take the fire out, but
I honestly don't think that the guy. Look, I've met some of the guys who write the rules.
Yeah,
they're awesome people. I don't think that any one person or even small group of people creating a game can have a large enough view of the meta from that kind of a scope to do something like that. Like, I think there's just too many variables for any one group of people, even the people who made the game up, to fully understand all the consequences of the things that they're doing. Like, because if that weren't the case, you wouldn't need 1 billion FAQs and erratas, and they wouldn't be shocked when they go to Adepticon and get fucking rickrolled by 7 Flyrants and then freak out and have to change their FAQ that's due to come out because, oh my god, this is totally OP.
Never gonna give Flyrants up. Never gonna say goodbye.
Nice.
No, I mean that's a fair point.
Do that on purpose, John.
No, I know.
It could be. I mean, to continue to push the argument, like it could be that let's put it this way. There's 3 guys whose official title in GW is rules writers, but they've got their friends, they've got their beer nights, they've got their game nights, and they're like, hey, bro, I'm a rules writer. You want to try playing with these rules? Here's how it works. Let's do it. And they're like, sweet. They're going to hear feedback. I mean, there's unofficial feedback that they hear and official feedback. You also have
to take into account the meta they're playing, and the meta they're playing in is not going to be some super knockdown, drag-out competitive meta. It just isn't.
It's not.
So
yeah, I mean, so you're basically saying because they're not American.
No, there are competitive.
I'm kidding.
British people, but I don't think the meta at GW headquarters is all that competitive, and so they get the playtesters to playtest also, and those guys are the more competitive people. But even they are still a small group of people, and while they're better at breaking codexes, they also aren't the only ones. Inquisitor. Yeah, see, good night. Thanks, man, for tuning in. They're not. Those playtesters are not the be all and end all. Like they're not.
Well, the other thing is,
and they also don't take all of their advice.
Right.
You're right.
And the other thing is, we don't know at what point the playtesters we know of get the army, get the codexes.
Yeah, at what point they get into the process, we don't know.
Do they get them early on, or do they get them late in the development cycle?
I mean,
do they get them when they've already been printed? And it's like, hey, what's your feedback for the first round of FAQs?
and they're like, "Here, this is it," and then they're
Or
like,
do they
"Okay,
get the
we're
rules
still."
like, hey, this is in development. Here's a PDF of what we think.
Yeah, and it's like, and maybe they get great feedback on it. You know, I could see that.
Yeah.
Then let me ask you this.
Tony, yes. Yes. STMT should totally be playtesters. You are correct. That group. Yes.
Oh God. Well. Oh
sure.
God. No. That would just.
Yeah.
No.
So plus
People who hit
play. They're not obligated to listen to the playtesters.
Right. No. It's basically, here's a paid opinion. I can ignore it.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's what it is.
Then I would ask this: do you think that there would? I mean, I know enough about the way that a company works and that GW works to understand that the majority of the money they make and the models they sell are to people who just, they love the hobby. They love the game narratively at best. And so they're just playing it. They're having fun. They're playing garage games with their friends. They're like, hey, let's have an APOC game in my, sweet ass board that I built like in, my backyard, et cetera, et cetera.
That's why in the past, this is the first time they've ever an acknowledgement of less the tournament side of the game.
Right. Well, they realize they can't just ignore that whole aspect.
Yeah.
And I think it's smart, but I mean, do you think that it'll get to the point where they actually try to fine tune that element to the point where, oh shit, it's not just guys writing the rules and they're writing FAQs frantically later. They're writing the FAQs before the codex even gets written. They're FAQing it prior hand.
Yeah,
like,
I think
You saw that now.
Yeah, because that's why they release an FAQ like almost right away a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how it works, but
I mean, at the end of the day, I know that you two guys are like, I joined in at the tail end of 6th, beginning of 7th, and I remember being here long enough where I was like, yeah, screw GW for giving this game that we like screw them for not telling us enough shit. You know?
Clapfoot, yes, I think Transcendent C10 are good, and Tesseract Vaults are good, for sure. You can definitely build lists around both those things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good stuff in the book, and that's the cool thing about the newest books is the newest books all have a lot of good stuff in them. I think it's finding the things that work with each other and work within the framework of the number of points you're going to play and the detachments you want to use. But the units themselves, most of the books have units that are just good, and most of the books don't have units that are straight up trash. And every now and then you do find a couple like the Annihilation Barge. But
for me, the thing that I know will either end my marriage as it begins or end my savings account as it begins is the Knights Codex.
Yeah.
If the Knights Codex comes out freaking swinging, oh god, I'm screwed. Because I love Knights models, but I've never had a reason to justify buying them.
Yeah, if the Knights Codex is good, all my sources of getting credit for this game and using that to buy stuff is going to get totally wiped out, like all my credit everywhere.
Instead of having 2 rotating armies, you're gonna.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad. And I'm sure the Night Book is gonna be awesome. So.
Oh god, I can't wait. Like that's actually like I'm excited for 2 codexes, Orcs, which I know I cannot buy enough of, so I'm just excited to see Orcs be fun, and then Knights. And Knights where it's like, okay, I just gotta make 3 purchases of approximately $500 total, and then I can run it as an allied detachment to my Dark Angels and make that work somehow.
Tony says to try having plates in 2nd edition, and you feel like a battered housewife with GW.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
that's awful.
2nd through 4th was rough. 5th was okay in terms of the responsiveness, and 6th and 7th were just the worst.
Second wasn't very no, they weren't very responsive. 3rd and 4th, 3rd through 5th, they were responsive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in 5th they did FAQs once a year maybe.
And then remember when they had the trial assault rules?
Yeah.
That was 4th to 5th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. They did them very infrequently. They would just happen to do them. there would be no announcement. They would just be
It
done
would
all
just
of a
be
sudden.
done. Yeah, all of a sudden they'd have put them out. And yeah, I also agree the Knights will probably be strong, Tony. Especially if they get detachments where like you can have things that are troops and whatever.
My bet is actually they're going to have the cheapest and most powerful stratagems because of the fact that you can only bring so many models.
Yeah, I would be shocked, Cuddle Bunny, if GW brings back any official tournaments of their own. There's no need for them to do it. The independent tournaments at this point do the job for them so well that they can literally just show up with their broadcasting equipment and their merchandise and be like, cool.
Yeah, they'll end up making money instead
they end up making money and
to run it.
I can't imagine them ever coming out with anything. They might come out with like an official tournament format, but that's it.
Running tournaments out of basically all they do because everything's set up over there already.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, according to your logic, where if 3rd through 5th was the heyday and this is the current Renaissance, that means we have to wait for 10th through 12th for it to be the World Wars where shit gets really deadly.
I agree with Tony about the heyday, 3rd through 5th.
Yeah. 6th and 7th were definitely the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dark Ages.
So 3rd through 5th was Pax Imperialis?
Yeah.
Or Pax Romanus?
Pax Romana.
Yeah.
Yeah. That works. Hey, 3rd through 5th could be like the Greeks and Hellenism. And
Yes.
Fourth could be the Republic, and 5th could be the Empire.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
So which one is Vercingetorix in 6th?
What?
Oh no, Vercingetorix was conquered. Never mind. Damn it.
6th is the Western Empire falls. 7th is the Black Death. No, 7th is the Black Death. Because no, the Eastern Roman Empire didn't fall until the 1450 whatever at Constantinople. And that's in the middle of the Renaissance. So we got to go with 7th edition. Has to be like another milestone in the Dark Ages, which would have to be like the Black Death hits, or the Crusades.
Tony has a really good point, but I feel like that.
What is that point, Tom?
Knights will lose Renegades and Chaos and Imperium and will be a solo ally style army. So basically, you can ally them with Chaos or Imperium as is. Period. Nothing else.
That'd be nice if the book was standalone and you could just ally with whatever. That would be cool.
Yeah, and he also says it's pretty sure it's the trial army for Inquisition and System. Although the thing that I am wondering, except they'll work with evil. Yeah, exactly. But the thing I'm wondering though is that given the amount of time that goes into building a codex, I mean from concept document to print, like I wonder if they don't already have the final draft of or close to the final draft of Inquisition and Sisters, while simultaneously they already have like 1,000 Knights codexes printed. You know, like that's why they release FAQs too. I mean, I would imagine
right. Well,
it's
I'm
not
sure the
just
Knights Codex are printed already.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, especially considering they're along with Harlequins are next.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's a drop in points.
Yes.
Like
something to make them more workable.
Well, I mean, they did say that you're going to be able to run like at one night and God knows how many armigers. I mean, and armigers aren't that expensive. They're like what, 250?
Yeah. That's expensive.
So, well, I mean, but like for what they do, that's pretty damn good.
No, the knight's only 350.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd take a knight over Yavara if I could.
I wouldn't.
I mean, no, the Yavara is a one-trick focus down, but for the points cost, I can bring in multiple knights and still be effective. You know?
Yeah.
So.
I think we'll call it for a night. It's almost 11.
Okay.
Actually, it is 11.
It is 11.
It is 11.
Yeah, let's go ahead and call it. Don't forget to check out the blog, which we don't put much on, but it's a good gateway to other stuff. And follow us on Twitch and Twitter and the Instagrams and the Facebook. And visit hammerheadgames.com, which is Tony who's been in the chat all the time. And they makes all the cool stuff. All the counters for turn counters, and they make awesome CP counters that are combined. And he makes... you can get all kinds of custom things through him. The awesome MDF trays. You can go on there right now, and you can go to his Facebook page and see the ones that they made for the Bug Eater GT. So there's some really great stuff. He puts out awesome things, and he's more than willing to like work with you guys. So go ahead and check out Hammerhead Games and if you're in need for special supplies for all your games.
They actually they just got some new brown and green flock, both fine and coarse flock for your modeling and basing needs.
Oh yeah,
Looks
that's right. The flock
really
just came out.
good. Yeah, it looks really, really good. Especially brown flock that's really hard to find.
Yes, brown is hard to do. Cool. All right, Adam, do you want to add anything, or did I
being
steal
said,
your thunder?
no, I'm looking at how much my 30K dice are going for on eBay. Sorry, they're going for a lot, actually.
Nice. Your Horse Heresy ones? Your Sons of Horus.
Sons of Horse. Well, they're from the Horse Heresy.
Right.
No, not much else to say. I mentioned a couple things. One, in regards to the Patreon, we're gonna, as you may have noticed, this episode and the last episode we've done through Discord. Basically, instead of the normal video the video Twitch that we do. What we're gonna do, I think it's probably going to become more of a regular thing. Maybe not every episode, but every once in a while.
No, right now it's really just because my work schedule's not letting me set up.
Yeah,
stuff in the house and
John's
stuff.
busy until probably June.
Until like second week of June or so. Yeah, I'm pretty busy.
So after school graduations,
Yeah,
For those
basically.
that don't know, John has a very seasonal job.
I do.
So what we're doing, and I'll make the change probably tomorrow or the next day after this, after Twitch stream. So by the time you listen to this on the podcast, it should already be done. For those that do $10 or more on the Patreon pledge, when we do the Discords, we'll hopefully know in advance, far enough in advance we can let at least one person from the Patreon join us on the show, basically.
Oh, that'd be cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So
So imagine like calling into your favorite radio, say on the whole.
sure.
Yeah.
So basically, Tom owes us like $100 at this point. So
I mean, I've given you so much more.
But your
so
brother's
yeah.
a Patreon supporter. Does that mean we're gonna have to let John on the show at some point?
We got to make sure to do the shows on any days except his days off,
Oh, perfect. Okay, that works.
so that he can't come on.
So basically Wednesdays, because that's probably when he goes back to work, so he probably works the most.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, it's right. It's still kind of the formative stage, but I'll make the announcement to the current Patreon.
He's still on.
Of course he is. He's
He's just at work.
So if you just go to Patreon, look up TFG Radio, as little as $1. That's all we ask.
Yep.
But if you happen to want more, give more. If you do the $10, then we can 10 or higher, then you'll be eligible to.
And here's the thing.
help out.
We ask for your money a lot less than like NPR does, and we make you laugh a lot more.
A lot less than a lot of other podcasts too.
Exactly.
Yeah, we also ask you, for Patreon money a lot less than some of the other 40K people.
Yeah.
Plus, we don't, but we're also not promising you a whole lot for it either. So
True.
Yeah, no. I mean, but here's the thing: we are honest men. We are saying if you like what you do, if you like us, either just listen in or give us money. We're not above saying that. It's
and when giving money, bear in mind that the only person who has access to the Patreon account is Adam.
yeah,
True.
exactly. So we all know he's spending it on hookers and blow. I mean, that's fine. Like,
No, only hookers. I don't do blood.
Okay.
okay.
Fair enough.
So then just more hookers.
He has standards, Tom. Okay. He's got standards.
Never been a big. Yeah, I've never been a big.
What are you talking? I mean, Adam, I thought you didn't get out of bed for less than 2 kilos of Colombian Bam Bam.
Maybe two Colombian women. But, yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay. We're gonna have to do some editing on this one.
And on that note,
Yeah.
We're not editing that part out.
Well, you do the editing, so you would know.
gold, Jerry.
Which means I'm not.
You know,
Gold, Jerry. Gold.
And then I did mention last episode bringing back the thought of the day or thought of the episode. This week will be relevant for me anyway in the Chaos Army that I'm building, which is attack is the only order worth remembering.
Yeah.
fair.
I would say
For the assault
My-
army in my heart.
My thought of the day is
You'll
if
get
you
a
want.
thought of the day, Tom.
I'm just saying, if I were to give one, it's not necessarily is one. If you want a chance to practice your army in a competitive setting and have a fun time and also get to know your community well, run a league. I think a league is something every store should do. Sure, you don't get ITC points, but I think it's great. I
So
think
that's a
it's
really long
actually
thought
you
of the
do.
day. Can we distill the thought of the day down to run a league?
I'd say leagues are good. Oh wait, Tony has a rules question.
No, he
what?
wants us to make sure that we ask the judges group his questions
Oh.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll pass it along.
Okay,
Tony, don't
so
worry.
and note, Tom is no longer to make thoughts of the day.
I was literally the person you asked last time. I'm in a habit now.
I did not ask you last
The
time.
last time he was
Okay.
on the show, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was my mistake.
Yes, it was.
All right. Well, good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Thanks for joining us.